Eat, drink, and repeat at Hilton's Islander Terrace for the best of Sunday brunch. Join us every Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for your Sunday brunch favorites, along with a carving, ramen, and dessert station, plus bottomless Heineken and Thomas Hardy Sparkling. Bring your family or friends to Islander Terrace every Sunday for a brunch experience you don't want to miss. Heineken, born in Amsterdam, raised by the world. Please enjoy responsibly. For reservations, call the Hilton at 646-3463.
Get through the work week with a special office party from Uno Go and participating restaurants. Every week, we're delivering lunch from a local dining partner to one lucky office for up to 15 people. For a chance to win, all you have to do is 1. Register as a user on the Uno Go app or website. Existing registered users may be entered as well. 2. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook. And 3. Send us a message with your name, contact email, and phone number, your office, and its location. We'll draw a winner every Friday on the link on Breeze 93.9 FM on KUAM TV 11 and streaming on Facebook Live, and coordinate the day of your choice for lunch to be delivered the following week. We'll also feature your office celebration on KUAM News every Friday. Put smiles on your co-workers' faces and enter today. Open to Guam residents only. Conditions apply. See the Uno Go Guam Facebook page for details. Thanks to our participating restaurants, Beach and Shrimp, Lone Star, Jamaican Grill, Ajisen, Sing's Cafe, Pika's, and the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety.
Antes de niga Radzauds and malak estrezas durante todo em memu a nogi distância como cupugi palu Zaniman malak guafi ikonum nasugi airi prebatu la noci nai banderata gaigi pues Atan Fanny Bandera Kau esta pagua pumalapa Gilo tanu man libri Sentami ti thee.
Fanogi chamoru Politanota Kantai matunonya gitoru iluga Paraiona Parai gloria Abiba islas en para Paraiona, Parai gloria, aviva islas el
a unified front line effort.
I quickly said yes, baby. Without you, baby, life would be so blue. Without you, without you, life would be so sad. I wouldn't know what to do. Till the day I die, I'll be by your side. Without you, baby, without you, baby, life would not be right. And I'm awfully home. Where's Susan on in my saddle? Vamos bonito moon. Who has stood the upper moon and I'll be the night the vice is really all after. We feed to San from Hogan property at that ye hollow me go my soul. Advice and truth me body go by down. Electro hung and lady send her good that in alone. Send her good, send her good. Hindi na lang pumili sa tiyoto. Ang babay husogi esta ipinatay ho bayu gagagihan ipiyon mo sinagu Ilinalahu pumiliti sa tihutugo. Hababay husogi esta ipinatayo bayu gagagihan ipiyon mo. Bayu gagagihan ipiyon mo. Bayu gagagihan ipiyon mo.
Good morning, Guam. Right on. Friday, woohoo, business. Viva business. Friday, ow. Right on. Yeah. Hey, guys.
I guess we don't qualify for perfect attendance anymore. Well, technically, we're still here.
Yeah. Okay, so we obviously, where's that in the comments? Rosemary Laguatney was like technical difficulties again. Face slap emoji.
We're tardy to the party, but we're here. We arrived by second period.
Hello, it's called Chamorro Standard Time, guys. Own it. Hey, good morning. It's Friday, 6:43, August 6th, year of our Lord, year of the COVID 2021. This is the Link, Miss a Lot. Thanks for hanging out and waiting for us. It was funny because we came on late. There was a little piece of equipment that someone had used and forgot to put back, so we couldn't go on without it. And anyway, so they ended up coming in and giving it. So thank you so much to, you know who you are. You're very special. Good morning. It's 6:44. Rosemary LaGuardia can't end the week without the Link. Of course not. We've got a jam-packed show for you guys as we're surging right now with the COVID. 29 positives last night, 30 the night before that, 29 the night before that, 23 the night before that. Yep. So, yeah, we're having a surge. I don't know about these 29 positives. We just got the info about the 30 positives late yesterday afternoon, which Sabrina is going to bring us up to speed on. It's Friday, by the way. The show is brought to you by Pacific Points. Huh?
Nothing.
Yeah. Pacific Points, IT&E, Cabo Enterprises, Jack in the Box. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Right on. Hey, Jay.
Yeah, let's get to it because we are really, really behind.
Oh, we're going to get to it.
Jam-packed.
Oh, now, you guys, let's just get to it. Okay. We're going to get to it then. 6:45 with the very latest from the KUAF News Team. Brought to you by Pacific Points on this Friday morning. We're getting to it with Sabrina Salas Mantonati. Good morning, Sabrina.
Off day, everybody. The governor will issue an executive order directing Rev and Tax to start taking all RISE applications no later than September 1st. Adelup Chief of Staff John Jr. Calvo sent a memo to DRT Director Daphne Shimizu late Thursday advising her of an upcoming executive order which will allow for the streamlining of the application process. Calvo also wrote that the governor met with Treasury officials who confirmed that direct cash payments to those adversely affected by the pandemic is allowed under the final rules for disbursement of pandemic assistance. Several senators have been urging the governor for weeks to expedite the all-rise payments, citing growing public clamor for the payouts. And one of those senators is James Moylan, who says he's glad to hear the governor has finally provided some information on whether her administration will indeed be paying out the proceeds from the RISE Act, along with some timelines. The senator added, however, quote, I just find it very suspect that her announcement comes on the evening prior to the 36th Guam legislature possibly entertaining two measures which address changes to Public Law 35-136 or the RISE Act. It may very well be a subliminal message to lawmakers to leave making any amendments to the program alone. The governor's announcement is essentially a repetition of what has been expressed for weeks by so many in the community, that federal guidelines have existed since July 19th and that the rules of engagement have been provided for cash assistance programs in states, territorial, and tribal governments. It is unfortunate that the request is dragged for weeks, and I'm even more surprised that the application process is being delayed by nearly a month. Speaker Teresa Lahi, meanwhile, has fired off a letter to the governor regarding her unwillingness to release a plan on the more than $600 million in ARP money we've had for months. The speaker writing, quote, it is indeed disappointing that you find it unusual and have refused to meet with the Guam legislature to discuss the allocation and spending of $600 million in ARP funds for Guam. There is nothing unusual about the expenditure of the ARP funds, as these are a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Guam that no governor, no legislature, and no member of your fiscal team has experienced. The speaker adds she is offering the governor an opportunity, quote, to be forthright and transparent as promised, to continue the dialogue that the legislature began in good faith. Dialogue cannot be one way, and the people of Guam deserve our utmost cooperation when their suffering has been long and great, and our success or failure in the recovery of their lives and our economy will surely impact generations to come. The representatives of your team that you wish to send in your stead have been wholly unable thus far to present an ARP spending plan or any part of it, even when these representatives showed up despite repeated questioning during numerous public hearings on the budget of various agencies. They were also unable in your absence to assure of the implementation of the RISE Act or the All RISE program without great impediment. Surely we can do better than this. The invitation will remain open should you decide that the way forward can be one of cooperation, united in serving the people. Again, that was from Speaker Therese Jalahi. The environmental damage to the Marbo area is officially heading to court. The Office of the Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against the Korea Electric Power Company, KEPCO, and Samsung E&C America for damaging Guam's natural resources and creating a public nuisance. The AG is asking the court to award actual damages and punitive damages. Last week, Guam EPA issued a notice of violation to Samsung for failing to follow its approved erosion and sediment control plan for their solar farm project in Mangilao. As part of the approved plan, Samsung was supposed to construct 5 ponding basins to prevent stormwater runoff into adjacent properties, but Guam EPA only noticed 2 during their recent inspection. The failure to follow their plan led to the environmental damage to surrounding private properties and the historic and popularly visited freshwater Marbo Cave. Although Guam EPA issued a proposed total penalty of $18 million, Guam law only allows a maximum penalty of $125,000. AG Levin Camacho says, in continuing to deliver on our promise to better protect our environment, we have taken action to hold those who harm Guam's natural resources accountable. The AG added the amount of damages under the lawsuit are not limited by statute. Deputy Attorney General Fred Nishihara and Assistant Attorney General Joseph Perez are handling this matter on behalf of the AG. Meanwhile, during the Guam EPA's board meeting late yesterday afternoon, the Marbo mess was discussed. Aside from providing an update on what the contractor of the solar farm is doing to come into compliance with the NOV, Guam EPA also responded to criticisms that they dropped the ball in monitoring the project. Here's Guam EPA Chief Engineer and Water Division Director Brian Bearden and Guam EPA Administrator Walter Leon Guerrero.
I want to get back to why we were not out there inspecting right away earlier on in the project. So we don't have very many staff, as you guys know. My division, Water Division, has 11 vacancies out of 23 authorized positions. Within that program, I have 2 inspectors. They share 1 vehicle sometimes they don't have a vehicle and they have to borrow. Last, I pulled together their inspection numbers from our quarterly reports for this last quarter, this last fiscal year, starting last October, fiscal year 2021. So for 3 quarters, 9 months, they conducted 486 inspections. And our estimate, based on the permits that we issued over the last year and a half, is that there is about 850 active construction sites on the island right now. So of those 486 inspections, they performed 431 inspections, which is about 89% of that, strictly for permitting purposes, because that's really the pressures that's on us from the outside, is to get permits issued as rapidly as possible. So that's what most of their time by default has to go to. 35 inspections, which is 7%, were to respond to complaints, and 20 or 4% were just for routine compliance. And many of those were for routine compliance inspections that we must do as a condition of the federal grant money we receive, mostly for GWA infrastructure, for example, lift stations and such. So we would have loved to get those guys out there, and it was definitely a priority site for me. But like I said, we had meetings ahead of time with Samsung, and it seemed clear to me that they knew what they needed to do. And we did not direct our staff to bypass any of their other permits and to go out there and look at that site. And in retrospect, we should have. But I'd really like to make sure that folks understand that our staff work very hard. They do not sit around on their butts doing nothing. They were working very hard. In fact, that day, I performed that inspection myself, because even though our roof was falling in from our office, literally, they were out inspecting for permits at that very time. I hate to see attention being deflected away from Samsung. I believe very firmly that they were at fault here. I question why there was not more oversight on that site. They have a construction management firm, which I've done construction management in the past, and that job is to look at those plans and to make sure that contractor is following those plans to the T. Every single one of these requirements that we put on them was contained in those plans. And if you look at our inspection reports, you can see photographs of the plans we photographed at their project office, which, by the way, was located at the location of one of the ponds. So I think that's one of the things that displaced a pond that should have been in place.
Right.
But with that said, I can answer any questions.
Let me add to that, Brian. Let me add to that. So again, to second what Brian has said, our team is a great team and they work hard. People have criticized us for not having enough inspectors. Well, we actually opened up an inspector position, and we just got the list last week. We had one applicant. So, people say it's the money. Some people say, why aren't you doing anything? We're trying. I was told maybe it's because the Recovery Act, unemployment, they pay more than that position. Well, if that's the case, we plan to open up in October again. But, when we're saying we're short of inspectors, it's not from lack of trying. We've just announced it. We got a list and we had one applicant, and that's it. And this is an entry-level position. You need a high school degree and maybe some experience or knowledge of the environment, but one applicant. And again, I was told it's probably because of the money that their unemployment that they're getting till mid-September. And so that's why we're going to try again in October or the end of September to re-announce it, and hopefully we get a better showing of applications, because you can't hire someone if they're not we're not getting their resumes or their applications. And so when people say that we're not doing our due diligence, I got to tell them you're wrong. I mean, maybe you don't know what we're doing, but we are trying. And I don't understand why entry-level position you get one application. So, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I really do not appreciate. I don't think it's really good to be blaming Guam EPA when we didn't do anything wrong. We are enforcing, and there's a lot of levels, as Brian had dictated or stated, that are supposed to prevent this. We are doing our job. We went out as soon as we got the complaint in, and when people say we need more inspectors, well, you know what? We're going to announce again by late September, early October. If you guys know people, make sure they apply so that we can get our inspectors. And that's all. Thank you. I'll get off my soapbox now.
The island records another day of double-digit COVID-19 positive cases, according to the latest report from the Joint Information Center. Out of 378 tests performed on August 4th, 29 returned positive. 20 cases were identified through contact tracing. To date, there's been a total of 8,652 officially reported cases of COVID, 143 deaths, 145 cases are active. There have been more than 8,300 recoveries. A total of 4 people are now hospitalized, 1 receiving ICU level of care. The CAR scores jumped now to 4.6. Meanwhile, 2 GDOE employees have tested positive for COVID-19. Both are employees assigned to GDOE's Teedzon Central Office. One, however, has not reported to the work site. With more news, here's Nestor Lecanto.
News Update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafide and good morning, everyone. I'm Nestor Lecanto with your headlines here on The Link. The local military has stepped up COVID precautions in the wake of an increase in positive cases among DoD personnel over the past few days. Joint Region Marianas Commander Admiral Benjamin Nicholson says he instituted a full mask policy on base and other measures to head off any potential for a more serious outbreak.
Instead of waiting for the CDC to declare Guam a high transmission area, if that even happens, that may not even come to that. But instead of waiting for that, seeing the trend was going in the wrong direction, we wanted to take immediate and impactful steps to try to curb any increase.
The Admiral says the recent positives are a mix of locally based personnel and those who arrive for ongoing training exercises.
So there were 3 different units, different services, that within that particular unit, there was a cluster of COVID positive. So we've seen that a few times. That was primarily one of the drivers there. But we have seen some other areas where there's been some folks within the resident population here that have come down with it as well too. But it was very apparent in those clusters in those visiting units.
Nicholson has also instituted a full mask policy, also out of an abundance of caution.
We were just abiding to DoD policy inside the gate. And quite honestly, that policy hasn't changed. And if you follow that to the letter of the law as it is right now, we wouldn't have to wear masks on our DoD installations because, again, Guam is not designated as a high transmission area. What we're doing is we're getting ahead of that, just watching the trends to make sure we don't ever get to that point.
Just like the local population, service personnel who are fully vaccinated will be able to circulate in the community to shop or eat at restaurants.
So there's a number of folks that are staying in hotels that are fully immunized, and there's some that are not. For the fully immunized personnel, they have the ability to go to the local establishments. For the folks that are not fully immunized, they have to refrain from going to those bars and things like that. They're to go to their place of duty and then come back and kind of stay there.
And Nicholson is confident they've taken the steps needed.
Again, we are taking actions early instead of waiting for the tripwires to be met. We're watching the trends.
The military says it will be vigorously assessing its COVID-19 policies to ensure the protection of its personnel in the local community while maintaining mission readiness. From bus to bell, the Guam Department of Education held a press conference today to provide parents and students information they need to know when they head back to class. Isaiah Uggan has the progress report.
GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez says every effort is underway to ensure students are safe for the first day of school on August 12.
And as we go forward, we cannot guarantee that the community health situation will not change. And I want to just assure the community that even as we plan for the beginning of the school year, we will continue to consistently monitor the community health situation, to be in touch and in close contact with our partners, our governor, our legislature, Department of Public Health, Department of Public Works, and all of those agencies that are a part of this overall effort to sustain the health and safety of our communities.
They are implementing 10 key strategies to keep everyone safe, including enforcing a mask mandate, frequent hand washing and disinfection, and maximizing social distancing. Students, staff, and faculty should not be going to school if they are sick. At least 92% of all students will be returning to face-to-face instruction on August 12, and schedules will remain the same as pre-pandemic.
So of course, for our elementary schools, the schedule is from 8:30 a.m. to 2:43 p.m. Middle schools from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. For our high schools, we have JFK, Tizen, Southern, and our Success Academies beginning at 6:45 to 1:45 p.m. And then George Washington, Ukadu, and Simon Sanchez begin at 7:15 to 2:15 p.m.
Still left on GDOE's checklist is the installation of HEPA filters, which are scheduled to arrive in about a week. Plans are also being discussed for the distribution of school supplies for students. Additionally, school breakfast and lunches will continue to be served at no cost to students who wish to participate. GDOE plans to continue with extracurricular activities throughout the school year. This includes interscholastic sports for middle and high school students. Reporting for Guam News Network, Guahusi Isaiah Uggan.
And you can watch the press conference in its entirety on our Facebook page. Additionally, GDOE is launching a series of virtual parent sessions to provide more information about back-to-school procedures, with the first being held for the Lagu and Luchan districts. You can find the schedule on our website. And Thursday's arraignment hearing for Andrew Manabusan was rescheduled because he's still not on Guam. In June, he was busted on drug charges in California, but hasn't been extradited here yet. Logistics are still being arranged for his travel. The 37-year-old is accused of mailing a package to Guam containing more than 3,600 gross grams of meth. The person who reportedly received that package was former police officer and former DOC officer Jose Ananich. Ananich was also arrested in June, but his case was sealed. The arraignment hearing for Manabusan was rescheduled to August 13th. And if you've traveled recently, then you know the protocol of filling out a health declaration form when you land on Guam. Public Health, however, has made the process a little smoother. The health declaration form is now online. You can fill it out before you land on Public Health's website at dphss.guam.gov. All arriving passengers have to fill out the document. The information is used to enroll travelers into the SARA alert system for symptom monitoring. And a special tribute was held Thursday in honor of Sergeant Iosiwo Uruo, a fallen hero who was killed in Iraq 14 years ago. It was on May 24, 2007, when Sergeant Uruo was killed after his unit came in contact with enemy forces. The sergeant was born in Chuuk State, Federated States of Micronesia. He easily gained the respect of soldiers. Friends would describe him as always there for his soldiers and was a good friend to all around him. Dozens of soldiers joined Agana Heights Mayor Paul McDonald and Uruo's family to honor his service and dedication to the U.S. Army by laying a wreath and by playing of taps. Lieutenant Matthew Meggers spoke on behalf of a friend of Sergeant Uruo.
To this day, I think of him and think of his smile as we played spades. He was a great person and always the quiet one who sat in the back and didn't say much. But when he spoke, all listened. A true friend and one of the finest soldiers I ever served with. You are always with us, Uro. I wear my bracelet honoring you every day. I miss you, brother, and hope to see you at Fiddler's Green.
The family presented a traditional cultural gift to the Warhorse members, symbolizing humbleness, respect, love, and unity. Sergeant Uruo is survived by his parents, Isao Shu and Iosito Uruo, and 6 siblings. And that's our report for tonight. We'll see you again tonight on KUAM News Primetime. Back to you guys on the link.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
After a year with so many games and events delayed or unplayed, the world is ready for anything and everything in the world of sports. KUAM Communications is ready with more games, more championships, and more specials that are guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the action and excitement. Brought to you locally by Michelob Ultra, Superior Light Beer, Marianas Irrigation and Landscape, and Docomo Pacific. Just more great reasons to tune in and turn on so you'll fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. Catching your favorite events during the Tokyo 2020 Summer Games has never been easier. In addition to the KUAM TV8 broadcast presentations of the July 23rd opening ceremony, the competitions you look most forward to, and the poignant closing ceremony, you can stream the specific events you want to watch through NBCOlympics.com and the NBC Sports app. Visit KUAM's website and click on any of the Tokyo 2020 banner ads and you will be whisked away to all the action. If streaming sports in the Summer Games is on your personal viewing schedule, then look no further than KUAM.com for links to watch the Tokyo 2020 Summer Games. Get yourself all caught up with the week's games, scores, and highlights with the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup on KUAM News Weekend Edition. It's all inclusive, all the fun and all the action wrapped up in the perfect presentation. Relive the moments on the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup, brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
We're on a mission to fill the bus with necessary school supplies and food for our island's children in need. The KUAM Care Force and Salvation Army, along with our partners GTA, Twinkles, Anderson Air Force Base, and Kloppenburg Enterprises, are collecting necessary items including school supplies and food items to help send our community's youngest and most vulnerable members back to school. New backpacks, notebooks, pencils, pens, crayons, and other donations are welcome, as well as food pantry items. Please do your part and give every child a chance to learn, grow, be nourished, and have a wonderful return to school. You may drop off your supplies to our Harmon Studios weekdays between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. up until Friday, August 6th, or come down to our finale between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 7th, where we'll be attempting to fill the bus with all your donations. Rise up to the challenge, embrace radical generosity, and help us fill the bus for Salvation Army and kids in need. See the complete list of items being accepted on KUAM.com.
A new musical competition series from NBC focusing on original music is in the works, and they're looking for contestants. American Song Contest is modeled after the hit European phenomenon Eurovision, which has produced some of the most talented performers the world has ever known. The show's looking for individuals and bands from all types of music to find an act in every state and territory, including representatives from Guam and the CNMI. Go online to AmericanSongSubmissions.com to enter and submit submit your original song submissions now. Must be 16 years or older and groups cannot exceed 6 people. Additional conditions apply. So apply today and get ready to rep our island on the national stage. American Song Contest debuts next spring on NBC. KUAM Digital presents a series highlighting the wide array of talents on our island. Whether they're a standout gamer, extreme athlete, performer, or have a unique skill to show off, we're showcasing them every month on Wow Factor. Brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the do.
Yeah, good morning to all my Chamorros only. Good morning to everyone else. Yeah, Jay.
When it comes to that cha-cha, everyone is on the floor. It's the number one for that job.
Did a really good cha-cha with Sabrina at her wedding reception. I remember that.
Nice.
That one lasted a long time.
You are quite the cha-cha, my friend. Give this guy a hand, man. Right on, bringing the vibes this Friday. Friday, whoa!
When you cha-cha, everything is good.
Yeah. Good morning, guys. Hey, Facebook Live, good morning. And I know we're a little bit late, but there's some very kind words. Aaron Redoble says, don't worry, you guys are worth the wait. Aaron.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much. Debbie Davis, we had over 2,300 positive COVID cases in Kentucky yesterday. Oh,
Jeez.
man.
And they've been, according to Debbie, they've been open for a while, too.
Yeah.
A couple months.
It's just the travel and everything that's going on. Josie Faji, Hoffaday, beautiful people of Guam. Please continue to be safe and well. Chris Cave, Hoffaday, good morning. Who else we got here? Jovi Castro, good morning. Don't know about any of you, but today feels like a nope, go back to sleep day. Yeah, here we are.
That would be nice.
You ever have those kind of mornings, Jay, where you're just like,
No, I don't like downtime.
You're like happy to be alive.
Ready
to go.
I got to do stuff.
Right on.
But to tell you what, one member of the Link family who is a little bit perturbed at us for like going in like a little bit tardy is our own Tomas Manglonia, who is in the Big Apple. And as I understand, Tomas, as you join us in the KUM News Zoom room, you're actually getting ready because later on this evening for you, you're going to a Yankee game. And I must say, you're a member of our family. I hate you with every fiber of my being right now if you're going to a Yankee game. Who are the Bombers playing today?
It's gonna be my first baseball game, so you've probably been to more than I have. But I was gonna say I don't mind at all. I could sit back and I think we could watch you cha-cha all day, Jason.
Looks pretty good, huh?
Hey, I've never been to a Major League Baseball game and everything, but hey man, enjoy it.
Well, what are your activist friends going to think about you going to see the Yankees?
Oh God.
Come on.
No comment, Chris. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, just have fun with it, all right?
Hey,
get you a hot dog.
Yeah, be safe. And who are the Bombers playing today?
It's Yankees versus the Seattle Mariners.
Wow.
So,
that's my team too.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Jay is a former Seattle resident.
Ooh. Have fun, man.
Well, we brought you
Send us
on,
pics.
Tomas. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but you were the recipient of not one, not two, but 3 awards for your reporting with KUM.
Well done. So if he was on the Olympic podium, you would see Tomas in the middle with the gold, Tomas on the left with the silver, and Tomas on the right with the bronze.
This is why I told Chris I didn't want to do this, because I knew you guys would drag
We
us
should do a
on,
meme.
but,
Can you do a meme, Jay, where you just Photoshop him on the podium with all 3 of just him?
Okay. Yeah, no, but I think thanks for having me on. I know I'm not home yet, but I think a lot of the stories, I'm just really grateful that an audience in the continental U.S. is watching, and the stories that were recognized there were about the quarantine protocol for passengers entering. They were about the COVID-19 testing lab that the Commonwealth Healthcare Center put up on Saipan in a matter of months. It's a pandemic that we're also experiencing, so lots of good people on Saipan and Rhoda and Tinian who offered their time during the pandemic to share a little bit of information, make these stories possible.
Right.
And it's still happening. I try to catch the link every day in the afternoon here in New York, and still a lot of questions that are unanswered, and it's always an evolving situation. So we're waiting. I think it's interesting to look back at that after stepping away from reporting at home for a bit, to just look at how much has changed in terms of the response, but also still how much has not changed and how much we still don't know. So
Yeah.
I know that we're all working to get those answers.
We're
at
excited.
KUAM.
We're excited to get you over here and help start asking a lot of those questions and getting those answers. Tomas, 3 of your stories won awards. There was one, KUAM gets a behind-the-scenes look at Saipan's COVID-19 lab. There was another, Navy details plans to continue with the Mariana Islands training and testing. And then Saipan prepares for incoming passengers. So we wanted to throw one of these stories up. Did you have a preference of which one?
No, go go for it, whichever one.
Well, when you win,
They're all winners.
Yeah, when you win first, second, and third place, it's like, they're all
No,
pretty
but-
good.
Oh, yeah, any one of
Yeah, I
those would be
think-
fine, guys.
Yeah, and I also just want to thank the team at KUM for allowing that to happen, because reporting in the CNMI for KUM, has been really amazing, and I can't wait to do that more. So
Right.
and like I said, when the news first came out, I also thanked the CEO Esther Muña, because she made it work. She saw the media as a partner in the response to the pandemic. So
Right.
a lot of these stories are because of that partnership.
Well, Tomas, I also must say that, we've been working with our partners, up in KSPN2 News in Saipan, and, we do like regional reports and everything. And we know sometimes getting big interviews with some of the government officials out there can be, kind of tough and everything like that. But in every single one of your interviews that I helped you produce and everything like that, everybody was like, oh yeah, we know Tommy, and we've known him since he was a kid. And you are very much respected by the private sector there, by government officials and everything like that. And they really have taken note of the fair and quality reporting that you've done and everything. I mean, you've got the Midas touch so far, obviously first and second and third place. So.
Well, you guys know it takes a team. I feel like I'm now just saying cliches this entire time, but it really does. I mean, I don't think people know exactly how much work gets in, and Sabrina, Chris, and Jason and Joser at the link really providing a really great platform for people to get answers during this pandemic and beyond this pandemic. So thank you all.
As you guys recall, Tomas was actually over in NMI for a big chunk of the pandemic, especially during the lockdowns. And he was staying in a little room in a family apartment, right? And he had his gear, and he was going out and gathering the news, and he'd always come on the link. Tomas, I just wanted to ask, just perspective-wise, right? Going back to that place where you were, gathering the news, and you weren't always, Governor Ralph Torres' favorite reporter. Now to go from that and the height of the lockdown to where we are now and where you are now in New York City, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has been, and like I said, I've been trying to keep up with the link, and it's interesting being in New York because as I'm sure you all saw, there's that news of vaccination cards going to be required at social public gatherings, and it looks like every city, every mayor, every governor is doing this, for their own communities. And so it's a pandemic, it's a global issue, but it's just so interesting to see each political leader address it in a different way and also face their own criticisms. Obviously, the governor of New York facing much bigger criticisms now than we might have anticipated a year ago. But as it goes with a lot of these stories, they change. So.
Can you tell me, too, Tomas, what is the sentiment now? Because, we ran one of the CBS stories yesterday, and they were saying, I believe it's on September 17th, that the state, or at least the Isle of Manhattan, is going to implement those rules where you have to be vaccinated to get into like certain businesses and everything like that. Being in Manhattan and everything like that, is there a general pulse that you can kind of like take away from like how people are responding to that?
Yeah, it was interesting. I was walking on the street the other day, and I had my mask on walking out on the street because I heard about the Delta variant. I'm going home in a few weeks, and I don't want that to be delayed by any measure. And so I noticed when I looked around too, a lot more people had their mask on Broadway. I don't know if they're local or if they're a resident or if they're a tourist, but a lot of businesses indoors are still enforcing that, even if you go to coffee shops and things like that. And so yesterday I went to a coffee shop and they said, hey, I saw this news. Are you going to start requiring it? And the owner there told me, oh, we haven't heard anything from the government. So we're not, we saw the news, but we haven't had any conversations with government officials. So looking at the response and then how private business owners react and to the news, having not heard from government officials, I think is something that folks on Guam and in the Marianas might be able to relate to in terms of the flow of information and when people find out when a COVID-19 guideline affects them. So everyone taking it for what it is for their community.
Wow. Yeah, and I just got to say, I remember when you first came to us and everything like that, your success is not at all surprising. I mean, we know your character, we know, how you were raised and, the virtues you have and everything like that. So not at all surprising, but still unbelievably impressive. I mean, Berkeley grad, now Stanford master's degree, multi-award winner and everything like that. And, we are unbelievably honored that you're a member of our team.
Yeah, it's funny. People always ask oh, who do you look to and what are your big inspirations? And there are some big names out there, but also you just don't need to look past the screen with Chris, Jason, and Sabrina, and Joser, and everyone at KOM who really inspires the type of stories that come out. So I miss you guys, and I can't wait to see you in person in September when I'm back.
We can't wait either.
Yeah, really, really, we can't wait because workload's a little heavy here, so we're waiting for it. You know what I mean?
I'll be over, and Chris and Bria will bring your coffee every morning, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
See if you can snag some of that blueberry bread while you're at it.
I was gonna start if the travel does work out. I was thinking about how many pounds I have to allocate for any request that Chris has.
Hey, man,
why's it gotta be
But
me?
we really are very proud of you, Tomas.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Right
Well
on.
deserved.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's go ahead and play one of these stories here. I don't know. I think it's between the behind-the-scenes look at Saipan's COVID lab and Saipan prepares for incoming passengers.
We
Which
got
one?
the passengers one, I think?
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
we
play
got
this.
that
This is an award-winning piece of journalism here from our very own Tomas Manglotnia on the link. Good morning.
This is a unified frontline effort.
Behind the scenes of the front line, media was on site at the Saipan International Airport early Saturday as United Airlines touched down. Special Assistant for Public Transportation Alfredo Camacho says it's a multi-agency approach.
We were all fitted with our proper PPEs and to make sure that we conduct this process safely, smoothly, and to help protect the community.
Buses lined the Westgate entrance and tarmac at 7 a.m. Once the plane landed, passengers were escorted to their vans, their luggage loaded onto separate vehicles. Dakota buses transport people at least 3 times a week from the airport. This morning, they're expecting to transport at least 60 passengers to the quarantine facility. A police escort brings them to the Pacific Islands Club for preliminary screening. Deputy PIO for Department of Fire and EMS, Robert Mojica.
They'll be going through a 5-day mandatory quarantine, and I believe after the 5-day mandatory quarantine, they can have the option of being tested, and once their test results come back, and if everybody comes back negative, they will, I believe, be released.
The staff goes through a careful decontamination process immediately after. The vans are also cleaned at the Kanoa Alternate Care Site.
This is why we're out here. We take the precautionary measures to make sure that we're safe for all of you.
Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News on Saipan.
Right on, and again, award-winning journalism there from our very own Tomas Manglotnia.
Yeah.
Tomas, great piece. Tell us a little bit about the group that awarded you these 3 finishes with your stories.
Yes, one of the large journalism associations, the Native American Journalists Association, always has the Native Media Awards every year. And in a year like no other, a lot of reporters had a lot of great stories to submit. And again, what it means for me is having more people look at the story that might not have heard of Guam or the Marianas before. And I think that's part of it all.
Well, Tomas, yes, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, Tomas, what time is first pitch, man? Because I was gonna say this is your first Major League Baseball game. Make sure that we know you're a smart guy and you're gonna do what's safe. So make sure you wear your mask and please sing your butt off during the 7th inning stretch. So let's root for the Yankees. If they don't win, it's a shame. And then you have to go for is 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game, and that's when you just lose your mind.
Yep, go for it, Tomas.
This is a rite of passage.
Hopefully,
When in
I'll
Rome.
probably take a video for you then, Jason, for you to see that 7th inning.
Yeah.
Right on. Please do. Have fun, Tomas, and thank you, and we'll see you
All right,
in
thank
about a
you
month.
all.
Yeah, we miss you, buddy.
Right on. Our very own Tomas Manglona. Good kid, man.
Yeah, definitely. I met him when he was still in high school.
Wow.
And we just knew there was just
then. Yeah.
You knew
yeah,
that,
we knew
right?
there was something special about him. It's like, he was raised really, really well, very respectful, very honest, and
Yeah.
he's a dogged reporter, too.
Yeah, very fair, and he also does a lot of the things that photographers and videographers do. I mean, he can shoot, he can put his stories together. So that's, very, very valuable.
Yeah, he was a
skill.
one-man band when he was up there. and everything.
Exactly.
Like you said, he edited everything himself, did all his own audio. Edited.
724.
And, there's a somewhat disturbing comment Joser just pointed out in
Oh.
the comment stream. Elizabeth Aggie was saying she.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
We have not confirmed this yet, but she said that she received a test of a positive case at an elementary school. Elizabeth, we're going to try and work on that, see if we can confirm that.
Elizabeth Aggie from Eva Beach, Hawaii. Huh?
Right, she's in she's in Hawaii. That's right.
She always comments in, good
Yeah,
morning
yeah.
from Eva Beach, Hawaii. Right on. Oh, good morning. My boy Chase is watching from Los Angeles. Good
Hey!
morning.
Hi, Chase!
I video called me yesterday that just came from Universal Studios. I was like, what's up? Are you tired of America? And he was like, kind of. Also want to shout out, of course, Elizabeth Aggie, Eva Beach, Hawaii. She'd also put in a comment here about they're making, was it vaccination mandatory for school sports over in Hawaii?
As
so
it should be.
Also, good morning to Debbie Davis, Mama Bear in Kentucky. Tony Kimball joins us here. Also, good morning to Maria listening from Wisconsin. We're worldwide this morning, really.
Hi,
thank you
Maria.
guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's hot out there this time of year, right?
I think it's probably like 60 some. That's aircon weather,
Wow,
right?
60.
726, big, huge show for you guys coming up here. We have Senator Frank Blas Jr. We had Jenna Gamindi Blas on yesterday about this whole procurement of the PacStar, and I think the Days Inn at the time. And come to find out, a year after that procurement, they're still trying to figure out how to submit documents to FEMA for reimbursement. And Senator Frank Blas had written a letter to the public wait, who did he write to?
Who are you talking about?
Frank Blas Jr.?
He wrote to the Attorney General.
He wrote to the Attorney General and was basically like, hey, the public auditor did all the research for you. Here it is. Are we going to see any charges or any kind of stuff?
Somebody must be held accountable.
Right. It's kind of basic, you know what I mean? But good luck with that. I mean, who's going to want to bring charges against the son-in-law of a sitting governor? Woo, boy, it sounds like a job for an independent prosecutor to me. It's 727, so we'll get him on. And then Dr. Hoa Wen, the Physicians Advisory Group chair, the Physicians Advisory Group concerned about this recent surge in COVID-19 cases. So Dr. Hoa put out the call last night, said, hey, can we jump on? Because we're concerned. We want to share our concerns. So obviously we'll get him on 8 o'clock. Salvation Army, last day for Fill the Bus, Jay?
Yeah, so tomorrow morning we are going to fill that bus, courtesy of our friends at Kloppenberg Enterprises. They're going to give us a vehicle that we will take with all of your donations. And you still got time. If you guys feel like you have a passion and you want to help out needy kids to equip them to be the very best they can be as they head back to school on Monday, please stop by our KUM studios here in Harmon today or tomorrow and drop off your donations. Thank you. Can never say that enough. And you are really going to make a difference in a kid's life.
Thank you so much, Jay, for that. 728. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with more of The Link next. Good morning.
KUAM Digital presents a series highlighting the wide array of talents on our island. Whether they're a standout gamer, extreme athlete, performer, or have a unique skill to show off, we're showcasing them every month on Wow Factor. Brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the do.
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KOAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KOAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KOAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
June makes the best malasadas in Hawaii, a fact not lost on Daryl, whose brother Byron is cooking the onaga he caught at his secret fishing spot with his girlfriend Malia, who used to work for the Shave Ice Guy, whose second cousin Vince drives the school bus ridden by Calais, whose auntie makes the best malasadas in Hawaii. Everything here is connected, and with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances, and it all starts with yes.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco with Kin Conception, seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
You just say no. You say you don't like it, but I know that you're a liar. 'Cause when we kiss, ooh, fire, fire. Late at night, I'm taking you home. I say I wanna stay. You say you wanna be alone. You say you don't love me. You can hide.
Welcome back to The Link on a Friday. Half a day to all of you watching all over the world right now on Facebook Live. We're glad to have you along for the ride, and we are glad to have in the KUAM News Zoom room a very distinguished member of our community who I'm sure, quite sure in fact, has questions and concerns about the very revelatory details that, Chris, you actually said in your report last night about the cost for the quarantine facility and the isolation facility. Senator Frank Blas Jr., who joins us now. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. Good morning, Bree. Good morning, Chris.
Morning.
I like it when you join
Good
us
morning,
for
Mom.
our canopy conversations.
Oh yeah.
Well, Senator,
I kind kind of showed you a little bit a while earlier as to why I'm outside, so
Right,
I can't
right.
do that inside.
Right. Well, it's a beautiful Friday morning. Senator, we're going to start. There's a whole bunch of stuff we want to ask you about. We're going to start kind of with the letter that you had written to the Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
Basically asking, hey, this audit came out about the question quarantine costs $3 million. Who's going to be held accountable? Have you received a response yet?
No, I have not. And just to clarify, it's at least $3 million. That's what's concerning. It could be considerably more.
Not even acknowledgement of your letter?
No, they've acknowledged. At least that's what I read from your news report. So yeah,
we're like the middleman around here.
It's been over a week or two, right, since you sent that?
And it has. I had all intentions of okay, they've received it. I know they've received it. They need to go through the review. I am going to write it. I've already penned the letter. Just waiting for it to hit send. Of okay, so you got it. Now what? So, and that will be done early part of next week if nothing transpires today or over the weekend.
Right. Senator, this is a question I believe we asked the AG last year during the pandemic, but I believe he has a personal relationship with the governor's former legal counsel and son-in-law. But you know what? I was thinking this morning because they pulled the trigger so fast to sue KEPCO and these companies up here with the Marble Cave. And so you can tell he has eyes on current events, but I'm just wondering why we didn't see that same kind of reaction from this audit and its findings. I mean, he could have easily appointed an independent, and that's what I think it's going to take because of their office's involvement in all this. It's going to take the appointment of an independent prosecutor or something to look into this, which is, to me, I don't understand why that hasn't been done already.
Well, I'm not going to speculate as to why it hasn't been done yet as well. However, I do recognize and I do understand. I don't have that firsthand information that there is a relationship between the AG and who was at that time serving as the governor's legal counsel. And does that pose an issue that requires alternative action, or in form of possibly hiring another attorney, outside attorney to do this, or whatever other legal means, other means they have, that remains to be seen. I can assume, and that's probably why it's taken this long. That said, though, is again, like I said, is nothing transpires today or over the weekend. Come Monday, press send, and we'll take it from there again. But I am no way not just going to write a letter and say, okay, hand it off, and it's all yours, and just forget about it. This is something that is quite serious, and it has a lot of ramifications. Possibly, like you said, it has at least $3 million worth of concern, possibly more, and it needs to be investigated. And what I tell you, I mean, my conversation with the public auditor very recently was the question was, okay, what teeth do you have in going after, when discrepancies are found or violations, malfeasance and whatever, if you do find it as a result of this audit that is required, what then, what next can be done? Because it is quite concerning. I mean, if I did not write a letter, or if I did not bring this to the attention of the ADs in the manner that I did, how would it have been handled with? We can't just simply say, okay, thank you for the audit. Yeah, we recognize that $3 million was misspent. Don't do it again. that doesn't work.
Hey, nice audit. Right on. Thank you. Put that in the shredder. That's what we think of that. Senator, we had Jenna Govindy-Blas on yesterday, and man, I didn't get the clip, but I'm pretty sure you heard about the interview, or maybe had seen the story. What did you make of the fact that so last year we had talked to Charles Estevez, the administrator at GHS OCD, and he had said that they had been tasked with recreating the procurement record, which, if you read the audit, didn't even exist. And so that was last year. And then we had Jenna on yesterday, a year later, come to find out that they're still trying to put all the documents together so that they can submit something that isn't embarrassing to FEMA so that we can get reimbursed for this over $3 million that was spent on this quarantine. So, I mean, it seems even more egregious when we come to find out that some very tenured and seasoned, government officials can't even put something together to submit to Uncle Sam.
Well, I was in those shoes once before. Fortunately, I can say that a couple of decades ago. And, knowing the process, first off, in order for it to be considered by FEMA for reimbursement, the first litmus test, the first test is whether or not the procurement was conducted within the confines, within the limits of the local law. Did you follow local law to be able to do this procurement? And if it where is all the paperwork? Okay, we need the paperwork to show its justification, how it was spent, how much was spent, and who benefited, from that service or the procurement of those items. And then it can be considered by FEMA. I think that first off, we got a couple obstacles that apparently need to be overcome before it's submitted by FEMA. First off, is that procurement legal? Okay, and now obviously as a result, based on the audit conducted by the OPA, there are some questions as to whether or not it was conducted within the confines, in conformance with our procurement law. Okay, that's the first flag. Second flag now is obviously it's been well over a year since this has occurred. Where's all the paperwork? And who's going to be able to say that yes, this is what I did, and yes, that was done. And when you can't do that, I can understand now why there's a problem when putting this package together. It's not like FEMA saying, okay, we won't deal with it now, we'll deal with it later. FEMA saying, we're ready to deal with it. Where is it? And we can't bring it up over a year from after it was done. It does pose problems, and hence it goes back to, again, my letter written to the AG about on the concern, and more importantly, it goes back to the audit that was performed by the OPA showing these discrepancies. Now what? Okay, and unfortunately, we're stuck in a conundrum in that it's now in the hands of the AG's office to be able to determine whether a lot of this stuff, and if we don't move on it, we're not even going to see the light of day with regards to at least $3 million. Again, I have to caution, and I have to reiterate that while the floor here is the $3 million, it could conceivably be more, because one action dictates and basically legitimizes any future action. So if you're going to do a future action because you're trying to cover up an illegitimate action, it doesn't make that action now legal. Herein lies, again, further concern.
Right, but do you think FEMA would understand that it was an emergency situation, an emergency that no one ever has had to deal with? We had this pandemic, it was COVID. The governor has superpowers. Do you think that maybe they'd understand and say, she was under a lot of pressure. They had to get that quarantine facility.
She was under a lot of pressure. The legal counsel never worked in the government before. They're just making it up as they go along.
I guess to answer your questions in the order that I was given, no, 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 and no. Okay. Okay. You know what I failed to mention in the process is one of the things that they look at is was there a plan? Did you have a plan to be able to deal with the disaster? Albeit this was an emergency that has never been dealt with before, but it was not the type of emergency that was not that should have been planned for before. In fact, if you look at the response plan, okay, first off, there's a national response plan and then there's a local response plan, of which I know, you know, it exists because, you know, we worked on it. You know, I was in that area where that it was a requirement for you know, local jurisdictions all over the United States to come up with a response plan, and it dealt with different scenarios, and one of them being a public health emergency based on a pandemic. So there was a pandemic response plan, and in that response plan is the procurement, how things are going to be procured. You know, what should we anticipate as needed to be procured? I know that was worked on because, again, that's in the plan because I remember I worked on the plan. You know, there is a plan to deal with a surge for medical capacity. There's a plan for evacuation. There's a plan for quarantine. There's a plan for procurement. There's even a plan for, you know, mass casualties. So I know it exists. Now, if we did not follow that plan, if we can't check off that box, you know, that says, do you have a plan? You know, you probably could check off yes. Did you use the plan? There's no maybe. It's yes or no. Okay. Now, in that plan, these procedures exist. And if you didn't follow that, it's really hard pressed to be able to get any reimbursement. Which goes back to my concern. How are we going to pay for this? You know, and who's responsible?
That's a good question.
Hello?
Yeah. I'm just letting that marinate for a second. Yep.
Kind of dumbfounded you or something. But yeah, no, that's the concern. I mean, you know, it goes back to so. I quite honestly, I did not, you know, Chris, you promised that you were going to play the clip this morning, but okay. So I did not prepare myself in advance, but knowing well that this is the process that is necessary, and you can't meet that criteria if you can't check off those boxes. I can see, you know, and they're having problems, you know, putting it together over a year later.
Yeah, I think that was a big reveal, Senator, is that all these things you're saying about the process and what they can and can't do. I think if they were able to put something together that would satisfy the feds, they would have done it by now. And, you know, Bree said that, you know, if would the feds be understanding about it? I think if they were going to be, it would have come out. I mean, it's been a year, right? And we've been reimbursed for other procurements already.
And I know of at least a couple of documents that the feds are going to take a real good look at. I think if you can recall, there was some concern as to whether or not there was some authorization, if you will, to place electronic signatures in a couple of those documents.
Yeah, there wasn't a question. Linda Denorsi, at the time, Linda Pinko Denorsi came out and said, I did not authorize my signature to be used for the procurement of, I mean, she said that in the hearing, and then Adelup had tried to confuse the issue and said, oh, she didn't really remember what, you know. But I mean, yeah, in recreating the procurement record, I mean, what are these guys going to do? Are they going to use Linda Denorsi's digital signature, or are they going to put all of, you know, Hai Hyun's mean emails as part of the procurement record? It doesn't seem like it's going to hold up.
Yeah, and who was responsible for, who committed those acts, if you will? Clear in violation of not just the procurement law, it's clear violation of other areas within Guam law. So who's responsible for that? As well. Those are going to raise the flags. Hence, FEMA says until you clear this up on your end, not on their end, on our end, until that is cleared, it cannot be accepted or will not be accepted. I said is FEMA would actually be patient in trying to, so that you can gather all the documents, recreate everything that you need to recreate. Because to this day, there are some disasters that still haven't been closed, with FEMA that we've requested from FEMA for assistance. And some of these disasters, are going on, 7-8 years already. Right. And it's not uncommon. Yeah. However, in a case such as this, the delay in moving on it is not because we failed to retain the receipt from the that we got from the store for procuring an item. In this case, a lot of it is we failed to follow the laws of the island, the laws that we have to follow in Guam. So therefore, how do you then now recreate something that has happened in that fashion to a point where it now becomes legal? It may not, so therefore we may not get reimbursed. Okay. And again, maybe they could, but I think that the concern is right in that it's taken long and that there were many discrepancies that go past just trying to get a reimbursement for $2 million. There are discrepancies that basically says that you violated Guam law. And it was very clear in with the OPA audit that while we were under a state of emergency, that declaration in itself doesn't preclude or doesn't abscond you from having to follow what is already written in law. Okay, there is law in the books, procurement law in the books, as to how to conduct emergency procurement. And if you don't follow that, no executive order will be able to unravel that.
Well, speaking of executive orders, what do you make of the announcement and this letter from John Jr. Calvo to Daphne Shimizu regarding the executive order that's coming out for the All Rise program?
All Rise!
Did you see that?
There was nothing that was said by the Treasury or provided by the Treasury back in May that was any different from now saying, okay, now we can do it. There was nothing that was said by the Treasury or the authorization or the assurance by the Treasury back in July, and again reiterated in July that changed anything or that said that you couldn't do it. So. I'm glad now that there's a realization that it can be done. Okay, on their part, this is something that me and some of my other colleagues have harped on, if you will. The concern I have is the timeline. Okay. Applications will be ready for those who want to apply for this no later than September 1st. Okay. What application? I mean, come on. I think that if somebody sits behind a computer to draft up an application process based on what has always been the guideline and what should have been the guideline, you can do that in a day. You can do it in less than a day. Okay? There are people that need that money today. that can surely appreciate that money today so that they can get the things that they need. They can help to prepare their kids to go back to school. They can avoid being disconnected from from the water and their power and want to buy gas for their car today. We can't hold that off. Oh, don't worry, we don't have to gas. We'll wait to gas the car on September 1st. It doesn't work that, you said it earlier so succinctly. This is something that we've never experienced before. It is hard, it is fast, it is severely. And, for those that don't receive a paycheck every other week and wasn't able to do that throughout this pandemic, it's easy for somebody who's getting a paycheck today to say, okay, we can possibly hold this off until September. Try find being in that position of that individual, okay, who needs that, who's already used up all of their savings, doesn't have is trying to find a job that can help them to bring them, bring back some normalcy in their life. And oh, by the way, in the job that they're going to get, part of the thing they're going to need to do is replenish the savings that they've depleted over the last 15 months. So they're not going to get back to normal once they get into a job. So I found telling them, wait until September, and then you can possibly be eligible and receive the amount from the All Rise Act.
Senator, your comments very compassionate, right? You're talking about people who needed this money today. I would say they needed it in January, right? But why aren't we seeing that same compassion from this administration? They don't say anything about people needing the money. They just kind of ignore the public outcry
Chris,
for this, and
Chris, and I have to reminisce on the days when before I got back into the fray. I'll go back to May of last year, okay? May of last year, when things were shut down, people were no longer have jobs and everything. I think one of the things we forgot that back in those days, people were trying to find ways to get food. All right, and so we put a couple, even KUM put a number of food drives together. Okay, you've witnessed it, you've seen it firsthand, you've covered it. Okay, of the thousands of people who waited in line, for hours for the opportunity to get a 15, 20 pound bag, of food. Things that months prior, they had no difficulty in walking into a store to be able to procure. But in those situations, in those times, they had no means and had to sit there for hours and wait for hours to be able to. We forgot about that. And we also, what really bothered me back in those days is that while that was happening, the response we got from the administration was, "Oh, I didn't know we had a food bank." Okay, why did it take it was the community that first came out with this, and maybe rightly so, because the less government involvement you have in your lives, the better. But it was the community that first came out with. I think we better put some, how can we help? Let's put together these drives so that we can help people. It wasn't until later that the government and really it wasn't the executive branch that started it. It was the Department of Education. It was John Fernandez and his group.
Yeah. And Senator, I just want to share, it was just 6 days ago, they had another food distribution and hundreds lined up to receive food assistance, right? Yeah. We're up against the top of the hour. Just last question, we have confirmed with the governor's communications director, Crystal Paco San Augustine, that the $30 million cap for the All Rise will remain in place. Your comments on that before the top of the hour?
Why? You know, I mean, it goes back to, this could be a topic for another discussion, okay? You told us back in May that you were going to share with the legislature your plans on how you're going to spend your $603 million that you got in the ARP funds, okay? It is now August, okay? And you're saying now you're waiting for guidance, which was provided back in May, by the way, and then reaffirmed back in July, okay? So our understanding is this the money for this RISE Act is that's going to be the funding source. Okay, why? What do you intend to do? Okay, now we know 30 million. Okay, what do you intend to do with the rest? Okay, and why? I mean, RISE Act, American Rescue Plan. It's supposed to go back. You look at that. It's supposed to go back to help communities, rescue communities from the economic devastation caused by this disaster. Whoa, it's 8 o'clock.
Thank you, Senator. It's been a good canopy conversation.
Okay. We'll have more.
Yeah, yes. Please save some for next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's
hey, you guys have a great week. Enjoy the rest of the day. Have a great weekend.
Right
okay?
on.
too.
Right on. There you go. Hey, it is 8 o'clock. We're gonna take just a super quick break. Super quick. And we're coming back on KUAM TV. Good morning.
Learn more. We got your 6
at 6 a.m. with the link on Breeze 93.9 FM. Bree and I connect you with all the latest news and information you need to know to start your day.
Then check back with Guam's news leader at 6 p.m. for the day's top headlines with KUAM News Primetime.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and everything else in between with KUAM Digital, we got your 6.
Good morning, Guam. Friday, business. Oh, yep, it's Friday, August 6, 2021. This is the link. Good morning, KUAM TV. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. I think we are the only crew in the history of like broadcasting or show business that actually needs sugar to like calm down and
Right,
coffee.
yeah. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
So Senator Frank Blas just on here on the link, of course. So we did have a bunch of Facebook comments, but I wanted to kind of share the two because it really does seem like Adelup has been a little AWOL on just the messaging with this all rise or the rise. And I think what they kind of lost track of is that there's people involved with this. There's people who are waiting desperately for that money, and no one's talking to them. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to wait another month for this all rise when it could have easily been paid out.
Looks like a month and a half.
Months ago, yeah. So the applications are going to start being accepted
right,
by
but then
September
it has
1st.
to be approved, and it's like 2 weeks. Things.
Yeah.
Still, first, better get it in quick, though.
Yeah. And really, there hasn't really been an opportunity other than WhatsApp to really get the governor and ask her these questions. I think the people of Guam really deserve, never mind the media, the people of Guam really deserve a good explanation, right? One that makes sense, because it's very clear that even though Adelup had come out yesterday and said that they consulted with Treasury and it's okay, I think everybody knew that it was okay way back in May, you know? So that's not really floating for a lot of people out here. And many people are talking about the delay. Like, why wouldn't they want to, pay out the rise or the all rise? And why don't they want to put out their plan? I mean, it's really reached the point of, it's ridiculous, right? This stubbornness and this unwillingness to share your ideas with the people of Guam. That's all. We're not asking for your personal private information, and we're not asking for your social security number. We're asking for the plan for $600 million. And we haven't seen it. We don't know if there's a plan. And if we're saying that in the media, imagine what the people of Guam are saying. But it is what it is. Maybe they should have a press conference. And I think for a lot of people, it didn't really sit well that we're we're having this conversation about the rise and the all rise, and the governor took off to D.C., where it looked like they had a very good time over there with the delegation. All right. So are they back now?
Yes, they are. There was a proclamation signing, and the governor was there. And then there's a media event today. I believe it's on base, so we may have an opportunity to speak with her.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, really, the people deserve more than just trying to get 5 minutes with the governor as she exits a media event. That's probably going to happen. They should have a press conference. Totally. Should have a press conference where they just sit there, and maybe it's going to be a little uncomfortable. But you reap what you sow. If you don't have this relationship where you provide information and you fill the gap and you talk to the people, whether it's through your Facebook page or through your media partners, and then that's what happens. And what we have here is, I feel like it's a fatal misreading of the room. But then when I was thinking about it, it's like, okay, so we got election year next year. There's no Republicans in sight who have even come out and said, yeah, I want to run. I know that Lou and Josh are already doing their pocket meetings at the village level. So I kind of was thinking, like, maybe it's because they know that they don't have any real competition, so they can kind of do what they want to do. It's 8:04. The show is brought to you by Pacific Points, IT&E, Cabo Enterprises, Jack in the Box. Good morning. Senator Jim Moylan, one of the voices that's been very constant on this RISE Act issue, is coming up on the show. And so if you weren't tracking this development, the governor has, through the chief of staff, tasked Daphne Shimzu to start accepting applications, no later or on September 1st. But the communications director of Adelup has informed us that the $30 million cap will remain in place, and it's going to be first come, first serve. And I want to go back to that clip we played yesterday where it was a concerned citizen and veteran, Adam Drillon, who said, first come, first serve, you might as well put your people in a cage and let them fight to the death for this $800. I mean, that's the kind of stuff people out here are saying. Nuts. It's 8:05 again. Let's go ahead and get into our news. Okay. For the 8 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Pacific Points with the very latest from the KUAM News team. Sabrina Salas-Matanani, good morning.
Half a day, everybody. The governor will issue an executive order directing a Revenue tax to start taking all RISE applications no later than September 1st. Adelup Chief of Staff John Jr. Calvo sent a memo to DRT Director Daphne Shimizu late Thursday advising her of an upcoming EO which will allow for the streamlining of the application process. Calvo also wrote that the governor met with Treasury officials who confirmed that direct cash payments to those adversely affected by the pandemic is allowed under the final rules for disbursement of pandemic assistance. Several senators have been urging the governor for weeks to expedite the all RISE payments, citing growing public clamor for the payouts. One of those senators is James Moylan, who says he's glad to hear the governor has finally provided some information on whether her administration will indeed be paying out the proceeds from the RISE Act, along with some timelines. The senator added, however, quote, I just find it very suspect that her announcement comes on the evening prior to the 36th Guam legislature possibly entertaining two measures which address changes to the RISE Act. It may very well be a subliminal message to senators to leave making any amendments to the program alone. The governor's announcement is essentially a repetition of what has been expressed for weeks by so many in the community that federal guidelines have existed since July 19th, 2021, and that the rules of engagement have been provided for cash assistance programs in states, territorial, and tribal governments. It is unfortunate that the request is dragged for weeks, and I am even more surprised that the application process is being delayed by nearly a month. Speaker Teresa Lahi, meanwhile, has fired off a letter to the governor regarding her unwillingness to release a plan on the more than $600 million in ARP money we've had for months. The speaker writing, quote, it is indeed disappointing that you find it unusual and have refused to meet with the Guam legislature to discuss the allocation and spending of $600 million in ARP funds for Guam. There's nothing unusual about the expenditure of the ARP funds, as they are a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Guam that no governor, no legislature, and no member of your fiscal team has experienced. The speaker adds she is offering the governor an opportunity, quote, to be forthright and transparent as promised, to continue the dialogue that the legislature began in good faith. Dialogue cannot be one way, and the people of Guam deserve our utmost cooperation when their suffering has been long and great, and our success or failure in the recovery of their lives and our economy will surely impact generations to come. The representatives of your team that you wish to send in your stead have been wholly unable thus far to present an ARP spending plan or any part of it, even when these representatives showed up despite repeated questioning during numerous public hearings on the budget of various agencies. They were also unable in your absence to assure of the implementation of the RISE Act or the All Rise program without great impediment. Surely we can do better than this. The invitation will remain open should you decide that the way forward can be one of cooperation, united in serving the people. The environmental damage to the Marbo Cave area is officially heading to court. The Office of the Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against the Korea Electric Power Company, KEPCO, and Samsung E&C America for damaging Guam's natural resources and creating a public nuisance. The OAG is asking the court to award actual damages and punitive damages. Meanwhile, during the Guam EPA board meeting late yesterday afternoon, the Marbo mess was discussed. Aside from providing an update on what the contractor of the solar farm is doing to come into compliance with an NOV that was issued by Guam EPA, they also responded to criticisms that they dropped the ball in monitoring the project. Here's Guam EPA's Chief Engineer and Water Division Director Brian Bearden and Guam EPA Administrator Walter Leon Guerrero.
I want to get back to why we were not out there inspecting right away earlier on in the project. So we don't have very many staff, as you guys know. My division, Water Division, has 11 vacancies out of 23 authorized positions. Within that program, I have 2 inspectors. They share one vehicle sometimes they don't have a vehicle and they have to borrow. Last, I pulled together their inspection numbers from our quarterly reports for this last quarter, this last fiscal year, starting last October, fiscal year 2021. So for 3 quarters, 9 months, they conducted 486 inspections. And our estimate, based on the permits that we issued over the last year and a half, is that there is about 850 active construction sites on the island right now. So of those 486 inspections, they performed 431 inspections, which is about 89% of that, strictly for permitting purposes, because that's really the pressures that's on us from the outside, is to get permits issued as rapidly as possible. So that's what most of their time by default has to go to. 35 inspections, which is 7%, were to respond to complaints, and 20 or 4% were just for routine compliance. And many of those were for routine compliance inspections that we must do as a condition of the federal grant money we receive, mostly for GWA infrastructure, for example, lift stations and such. So we would have loved to get those guys out there, and it was definitely a priority site for me. But like I said, we had meetings ahead of time with Samsung, and it seemed clear to me that they knew what they needed to do. And we did not direct our staff to bypass any of their other permits and to go out there and look at that site. And in retrospect, we should have. But I'd really like to make sure that folks understand that our staff work very hard. They do not sit around on their butts doing nothing. They were working very hard. In fact, that day, I performed that inspection myself, because even though our roof was falling in from our office, literally, they were out inspecting for permits at that very time. I hate to see attention being deflected away from Samsung. I believe very firmly that they were at fault here. I question why there was not more oversight on that site. They have a construction management firm, which I've done construction management in the past, and that job is to look at those plans and to make sure that contractor is following those plans to the T. Every single one of these requirements that we put on them was contained in those plans. And if you look at our inspection reports, you can see photographs of the plans we photographed at their project office, which, by the way, was located at the location of one of the ponds. So I think that's one of the things that displaced a pond that should have been in place. Right. But with that said, I can answer any questions.
Let me add to that, Brian. Let me add to that. So again, to second what Brian has said, our team is a great team and they work hard. People have criticized us for not having enough inspectors. Well, we actually opened up an inspector position, and we just got the list last week. We had 1 applicant. So, people say it's the money. Some people say, why aren't you doing anything? We're trying. I was told maybe it's because the Recovery Act, unemployment, they pay more than that position. Well, if that's the case, we plan to open up in October again. But, you know, when we're short of inspectors, it's not from lack of trying. We've just announced it. We got a list and we had one applicant, and that's it. And this is an entry-level position. You need a high school degree and maybe some experience or knowledge of the environment, but one applicant. And again, I was told it's probably because of the money that they're unemployment that they're getting till mid-September. And so that's why we're going to try again in October or the end of September to re-announce it, and hopefully we get a better showing of applications, because you can't hire someone if they're not we're not getting their resumes or their applications. And so when people say that we're not doing our due diligence, I got to tell them, you're wrong. I mean, maybe you don't know what we're doing, but we are trying. And I don't understand why entry-level position, you get one application. So, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I really do not appreciate, I don't think it's really good to be blaming Guam EPA when we didn't do anything wrong. We are enforcing, and there's a lot of levels, as Brian had dictated or stated, that are supposed to prevent this. We are doing our job. We went out as soon as we got the complaint in, and when people say we need more inspectors, well, you know what? We're going to announce again by late September, early October. If you guys know people, make sure they apply so that we can get our inspectors. You know, and that's all. Thank you. I'll get off my soapbox now.
The island records another day of double-digit COVID-19 positive cases, according to the latest report from the Joint Information Center. Out of 378 tests performed on August 4th, 29 returned positive. 20 cases were identified through contact tracing. To date, there have been a total of 8,652 officially reported cases of COVID, with 143 deaths. 145 cases are active, and there have been 8,364 recoveries. A total of 4 people are now hospitalized, 1 receiving ICU level of care. The CAR score has jumped to 4.6. Meanwhile, 2 GDOE employees have tested positive for COVID. Both are employees assigned to GDOE's Teadston Central Office. One, however, has not reported to the work site. With more news, here's Nestor Lecanto.
News Update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafide and good morning, everyone. I'm Nestor Lecanto with your headlines here on The Link. The local military has stepped up COVID precautions in the wake of an increase in positive cases among DoD personnel over the past few days. Joint Region Marianas Commander Admiral Benjamin Nicholson says he instituted a full mask policy on base and other measures to head off any potential for a more serious outbreak.
Instead of waiting for the CDC to declare Guam a high transmission area, if that even happens, that may not even come to that. But instead of waiting for that, seeing the trend was going in the wrong direction, we wanted to take immediate and impactful steps to try to curb any increase.
The Admiral says the recent positives are a mix of locally based personnel and those who arrive for ongoing training exercises.
So there were 3 different units, different services, that within that particular unit, there was a cluster of COVID positive. So we've seen that a few times. That was primarily one of the drivers there. But we have seen some other areas where there's been some folks within the resident population here that have come down with it as well too. But it was very apparent in those clusters in those visiting units.
Nicholson has also instituted a full mask policy, also out of an abundance of caution.
We were just abiding to DoD policy inside the gate. And quite honestly, that policy hasn't changed. And if you follow that to the letter of the law as it is right now, we wouldn't have to wear masks on our DoD installations because, again, Guam is not designated as a high transmission area. What we're doing is we're getting ahead of that, just watching the trends to make sure we don't ever get to that point.
Just like the local population, service personnel who are fully vaccinated will be able to circulate in the community to shop or eat at restaurants.
So there's a number of folks that are staying in hotels that are fully immunized, and there's some that are not. For the fully immunized personnel, they have the ability to go to the local establishments. For the folks that are not fully immunized, they have to refrain from going to those bars and things like that. They're to go to their place of duty and then come back and kind of stay there.
And Nicholson is confident they've taken the steps needed.
Again, we are taking actions early instead of waiting for the tripwires to be met. We're watching the trends.
The military says it will be vigorously assessing its COVID-19 policies to ensure the protection of its personnel in the local community while maintaining mission readiness. From bus to bell, the Guam Department of Education held a press conference today to provide parents and students information they need to know when they head back to class. Isaiah Uggan has the progress report.
GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez says every effort is underway to ensure students are safe for the first day of school on August 12.
And as we go forward, we cannot guarantee that the community health situation will not change. And I want to just assure the community that even as we plan for the beginning of the school year, we will continue to consistently monitor the community health situation, to be in touch and in close contact with our partners, our governor, our legislature, Department of Public Health, Department of Public Works, and all of those agencies that are a part of this overall effort to sustain the health and safety of our community.
They are implementing 10 key strategies to keep everyone safe, including enforcing a mask mandate, frequent hand washing and disinfection, and maximizing social distancing. Students, staff, and faculty should not be coming to school if they are sick. At least 92% of all students will be returning to face-to-face instruction on August 12, and schedules will remain the same as pre-pandemic.
So of course, for our elementary schools, the schedule is from 8:30 a.m. to 2:43 p.m. Middle schools from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. For our high schools, we have JFK, Tizen, Southern, and our Success Academies beginning at 6:45 to 1:45 p.m. And then George Washington, Ukadu, and Simon Sanchez begin at 7:15 to 2:15 p.m.
Still left on GDOE's checklist is the installation of HEPA filters, which are scheduled to arrive in about a week. Plans are also being discussed for the distribution of school supplies for students. Additionally, school breakfast and lunches will continue to be served at no cost to students who wish to participate. GDOE plans to continue with extracurricular activities throughout the school year. This includes interscholastic sports for middle and high school students. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Isaiah Uggan.
And you can watch the press conference in its entirety on our Facebook page. Additionally, GDOE is launching a series of virtual parent sessions to provide more information about back-to-school procedures, with the first being held for the Lagu and Luchan districts. You can find the schedule on our website. And Thursday's arraignment hearing for Andrew Manabusan was rescheduled because he's still not on Guam. In June, he was busted on drug charges in California, but hasn't been extradited here yet. Logistics are still being arranged for his travel. The 37-year-old is accused of mailing a package to Guam containing more than 3,600 gross grams of meth. The person who reportedly received that package was former police officer and former DOC officer Jose Ananich. Ananich was also arrested in June, but his case was sealed. The arraignment hearing for Manabusan was rescheduled to August 13th. And if you've traveled recently, then you know the protocol of filling out a health declaration form when you land on Guam. Public Health, however, has made the process a little smoother. The health declaration form is now online. You can fill it out before you land on Public Health's website at dphss.guam.gov. All arriving passengers have to fill out the document. The information is used to enroll travelers into the SARA alert system for symptom monitoring. And a special tribute was held Thursday in honor of Sergeant Iosiwo Uruo, a fallen hero who was killed in Iraq 14 years ago. It was on May 24, 2007, when Sergeant Uruo was killed after his unit came in contact with enemy forces. The sergeant was born in Chuuk State, Federated States of Micronesia. He easily gained the respect of soldiers. Friends would describe him as always there for his soldiers and was a good friend to all around him. Dozens of soldiers joined Agana Heights Mayor Paul McDonald and Uruo's family to honor his service and dedication to the U.S. Army by laying a wreath and by playing of taps. Lieutenant Matthew Meggers spoke on behalf of a friend of Sergeant Uruo.
To this day, I think of him and think of his smile as we played spades. He was a great person and always the quiet one who sat in the back and didn't say much. But when he spoke, all listened. A true friend and one of the finest soldiers I ever served with. You are always with us, Euro. I wear my bracelet honoring you every day. I miss you, brother, and hope to see you at Fiddler's Green.
The family presented a traditional cultural gift to the Warhorse members, symbolizing humbleness, respect, love, and unity. Sergeant Uruo is survived by his parents, Isao Shu and Iosito Uruo, and 6 siblings. And that's our report for tonight. We'll see you again tonight on KOAM News Primetime. Back to you guys on the link.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Information contained in a search warrant provides details that led to the closure of the Dededo Contract Postal Unit back in April. According to court documents, it was on April 15th when Postmaster Tammy Shonen and Postal Supervisor Lynn Bautista were conducting an audit of the Dededo Contract Postal Unit and observed rifled mail and undelivered mail. Postal inspectors were contacted and responded. When they arrived, they noticed overdue mail lying on the floor and stacked against the wall. Postal inspectors also found an opened parcel with contents missing, as well as items that appeared to have been taken out of parcels and attempted to be hidden. Quote, that is the items were placed at the bottom of hampers with items piled on top. Inspectors also recovered 6 large flat-rate parcel boxes that were filled with empty packing from prior mailings. The postal inspector believed this to be an indication that an unknown individual stole and took mail from an authorized depository for mail matter and intended to deprive the owner, temporarily or permanently, of the use and benefit of the mail. The postal inspectors were able to interview the contract holder for the Dededo Contract Postal Unit, Desiree Young, who also holds the contract for the Jigo Postal Unit. She told inspectors that she was not aware of the thefts and stated that she was living with the only other employee, Kenneth Cruz. Inspectors then went to the home of Young and Cruz in Jigo. When they arrived at the residence, they saw a large fire and saw boxes and other items being burned. According to court documents, inspectors asked Cruz why he was burning all the items, to which he responded, he just needed to get rid of some trash. Inspectors asked him to put out the fire, but he told them he cannot because he really needed to burn the items. Court documents added Cruz was uncooperative and denied any wrongdoing or knowledge of the thefts from the U.S. mail. Additionally, while at the Dededo Contract Postal Unit, inspectors found a safe that was believed to obtain postal property. Young and postal officials, however, were unable to open it. The safe was transported to the Barrigada Post Office to prevent theft of postal property. Court documents add that all the mail from the Dededo Contract Postal Unit was removed and also transported to Barrigada. The Dededo unit was closed indefinitely. Young, in the meantime, had agreed to meet with postal inspectors on April 20th. However, she did not make the meeting and did not answer any attempts to communicate with her. As reported, the Jigo Contract Postal Unit was also closed, but court documents did not provide any information regarding its closure. The Jigo Post Office was recently reopened and under new management. The Dededo Contract Postal Unit, however, remains closed till this day. The Biden administration is pushing state and local officials to rapidly disperse tens of billions of dollars in COVID relief rental assistance days after the federal moratorium on evictions expired. But lawmakers and advocacy groups say it may not be enough for the millions of Americans facing eviction. Natalie Brand reports.
Also remember that for the past 5 days, Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush has camped out on the steps of the U.S. Capitol as millions of Americans face possible eviction following the recent expiration of a federal moratorium.
I do know what it's like to have babies sleeping in a car with trash bags, my belongings, everything I own in trash bags, because I know what that's like. There is no way that I could sit back and be quiet.
Civil rights activist Jesse Jackson visited Bush Tuesday along with clergy members and other House Democrats. Nationwide, advocates are preparing for an influx of requests for help.
We face the very real possibility in the coming weeks and months of both a historic wave of evictions and housing instability, and further spread and preventable deaths from COVID-19.
House Democrats say Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told them on a call Tuesday that her department is working hard to help cities and states distribute more of the $46 billion in emergency rental assistance that's already been approved by Congress.
There's a great deal of funding that has not gone out nearly as quickly as it should have gone out. We recognize that issue.
In addition to tenants worried about losing their homes, Bob Pinniger of the National Apartment Association says small property owners and independent rental owners are hurting too.
This has gone on for such a long period of time. We're over a year now, and people's savings are being depleted in a dramatic way.
Advocates say it could take weeks or even months for the federal aid to be distributed. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And joining us now from the Zoom room and joining our newscast live is Dr. Hoa Nguyen, the chairperson of the Physicians Advisory Group. Good morning, Dr. Hoa, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, guys. I'm kind of late there.
Oh, no, it's fine. You know, we've seen the surge in cases over the past several days, 23, 29, 30, 29 again just yesterday. How concerned should we be about the surge of cases?
You know, we've been tracking this thing for the past week or so, and we should be very much concerned on the positive rate in Guam. You know, what we see is mostly in the family unit that, that one parent's positive and it just spread throughout the family, so I'd encourage that, even if you're fully vaccinated and you do not wear any mask around a positive person, you will pick up the virus also. You will not be as sick as the unvaccinated person, but you will catch the virus. It's pretty contagious, and so people that for the people that are fully vaccinated, you really have to, around people that you do not know, please wear your mask in public place. Right now, the gathering, I tell you, you have to wear your mask. If it's indoor, and if outdoor, if you don't know the person, still use your mask. For unvaccinated person, I tell you, what we see in the clinic setting, every positive person, unvaccinated person. People gotta go in there and get get your vaccine somehow. But I tell you that you will help to control the virus in Guam if you get yourself vaccinated. And we all need you to do that. So yes, and we have to be careful, Bree, because what we see, this 20, 30 positive, it will reflect on the hospitalization by next week or in about 2 weeks from now. So I would expect that the hospitalization will increase by next week.
And you say that because the majority of the people that are popping positive are unvaccinated individuals?
Yes, and the symptom only get worse on the second week, Spring. You get a little sick, and then about the 7 to 10 days, that's about the 7 days, that's when your symptom gonna hit you. So we just expect for the worst, that probably next week you probably see more people in the hospital.
And you mentioned that the people that you've been seeing coming into your clinic that have been testing positive are families, right? What about, are you seeing an increase in children that are testing positive?
Yes, if you see the parents that pop positive in the test, and the children are 12 and under, they cannot get vaccinated, they will get sick. And that's what we see. The children on sick is under 12. So, you know, we really ask the parents, if you know, I don't know, if you have the question of the vaccine, talk to your physician, talk to your provider, get the facts straight, get the vaccine for yourself and to protect your family. You know, if people have children less than 12, you got to protect them. You cannot afford even lose one children because of the virus. So I really ask people to go out there and be responsible and be your parents and get yourself vaccine, you know, vaccinated at any clinic, you know. So we all have to do our part, you know, as we lift all the restriction. You know, we expect some positive to go up, but as a trend the past week or so, this is much more than we would expect it. So I would say 80% herd immunity is not like it's over. We really have to continue to use our masks around other people and to kind of curb this virus here. It's not anything about what come into the island. It's about our people here. We need to don't let our guard down, and we don't want another surge in the next week or two.
Doc, I know you talked about the unvaccinated popping positive, but we did get the breakdown of the cases, the 30 positives from Wednesday.
Yeah, the day before.
Yeah, we got it late. But the vax status for the 30 positives on Wednesday: 10 fully vaccinated, 1 partially vaccinated, 8 unvaccinated, 8 unknown status because of DOD. And that's something I wanted to ask you about. We'll just start there. So you're saying that a lot of the positives are unvaccinated, but the data shows here, at least when we had the 30 cases, that a third of those were fully vaccinated individuals.
Yes, definitely, Chris, I was telling you guys that, the fully vaccinated people, if you're exposed to a virus long enough because you don't wear your mask, you will pick up the virus. Remember, the sole purpose of the vaccine is trying to prevent you from getting the virus. That's number one. And number two is that if you catch the virus, you will not be as sick as you do not have the vaccine. It would decrease your risk of hospitalization, the risk of death. But it doesn't mean that if I'm fully vaccinated, I can go around with no mask on and I don't care. That's the one that we really need to educate the public, is that I know you're fully vaccinated, but you still need to wear your mask around people that you do not know. And around gathering, if it's indoor and you don't know people, use your mask. I tell you, because you will catch the virus too. But Chris, that's why I say that you will turn positive. You're fully vaccinated, but you're not as sick.
Yeah.
But if you happen to carry the Delta variants, you will pass that along to the next person.
I know that you follow the link, and you're well aware that there were 12 U.S. Army personnel that were pulled off the USN Fisher and are currently in the Gov Guam isolation facility. And then over the weekend, we had seen, I want to say, about 40 or 50 positives on the military side. So as the PAG, are you guys monitoring the volatility of that situation, given that we've got, thousands of military personnel here for multiple training exercises?
Yeah, but Chris, as long as they really not working along our counterpart in the civilian side, and as long as they stay on base, then they be okay. They're not involving anyone off base, but if they frequent the facility off base, like the restaurant, the hotel, all that kind of stuff, then yes, we will have problem in the community regarding the spreading the virus here. So, so we have detail on inside the fence, but I know that they have reinstated the mandate for the mask on base. and also have some restriction of movement for the temporary people that come into the island for the exercise. So that will help a lot in curbing the virus, the infection in the community. So, but I say any action we take right now, you won't see it until about a week to 2 weeks from now. So we were hoping that if everyone is aware of the situation, use your mask, we would curb this thing and not let it get out of hand in the next week or 2 weeks.
All right, thank you so much, Dr.
You're
Wynn.
welcome. Yeah, but Sabrina, question of our people in Guam to please use your mask. And I would ask the fully vaccinated people that if you have any cough and cold symptom, go get yourself tested. Just because, fully vaccinated doesn't mean that you won't get the virus. You still pass it on to some people, but you won't feel so sick. So get yourself tested so you can protect the people around you, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Stay safe, Doc.
Thank you guys. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. And we're going to continue with our newscasts and head right back into the Zoom room. And joining us now, we have Senator James Moylan. Good morning, Senator.
Unmute.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well.
All rise, all rise, all rise.
Okay.
Chris is
I got to rise until September 1st, though, and then some.
Good question. And again, why September 1st? We've known since July, right? But first off, of course, I'm glad this has been announced by the Chief of Staff. But it's very suspectable that we're doing this today because today we're supposed to go back into session. We're going to vote on a few measures, but we're also going to motion to have a few more measures added to our session agenda. And a couple of them are bills addressing the changes we wanted to make to the RISE Act, which the governor again mentioned in her note on saying that she's not going to pay it, but she also made mention that the problem started with the Public Law 35-136, punting it back again to the senators. Now that we're going into session, and I suspect that she has information that we're going to be addressing this, she kind of intercepts there and tries to block us one more time from making any corrections that she obviously has said is the main problem. At the same time, the governor has also said that she would not address any increase in payment amount from $800 to $1,000 or $1,600 to $2,000, or will she address the cap that she calls a cap by simply removing the $30 million and extending the enrollment period for 6 months or longer. I understand that's not going to be part of the executive order, but why wait till 9/1? I'm not sure. I mean, this is what is today? 8/6, right? That's almost 30 days from now. Once again, a little less than. Just the continuous delay and the response that I see from the governor is that they addressed the Department of Treasury. I guess they had a meeting there, and they were wanted to assure that the final rules did not change anything, that they can pay out their All Rise Act, which in July 19th we had frequently asked questions, more than 44 some pages of it. Well, basically 2.6 said, can you pay this out? And the first word in their answer in the frequently asked question is yes. Yes, you can pay it out. How much clearer do you need to have that said? So, well, good on the governor. And let's expedite this process. Their last sentence in their statement said, I request all needed necessary personnel proceed to make this a priority. So all hands on deck, all rise to the occasion and get it paid. But we're still meeting. Congress is going into session again today, and we're still meeting. We're going to motion to have these measures brought to the floor and continue session for further discussion.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot, Senator.
Okay.
Anything
You're
else you
welcome.
wanted to add?
Yeah.
That's airworthy. That's airworthy. Okay.
Yeah. There sure is a lot, but let's just take one step at a time. I think we will also eventually want to show us where this money is, and that's something I'm bringing up here in the near future. I want to know exactly where this money is. I want to know which bank and how much has been paid out so far, and address this. We need to keep on track of this. If they want to be transparent, well, I guess we have to continue to ask these questions because they absolutely are not being transparent. I do wish, though, it's if I can, just one more thing. You took the time to ask the treasurer of an answer that you already know that you can pay the All Rise Act. Did you also take the time, Governor, to ask the Treasury Department, can we use $30 million to build our hospital? That's not clear in the frequently asked questions. That's not clear in the initial instructions for all this money. I hope you took the time, Governor, to find out if you can put aside $30 million instead of circulating it in our community to help the people of Guam. That's an answer I would like to see, and I hope that they asked. So thank you very much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Senator. And now with your sports link, here's Dave Delgado.
Sports Link brought to you each week by Cure Alkaline Water and Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape.
Residents are putting in work in preparation for this year's Trench Challenge event. James Sardea, owner of Urban Fitness in Mighty, is helping those interested in increasing their strength and endurance.
We have a lot of women coming in during the day, and then early morning it's the men that come in and work out. Prep them up is making sure they know the obstacles and start doing the obstacles. Like we have the Atlas, sandbags, we also have the monkey bars up here, we also have the skull crusher, where you start to have to do a lot of upper body strength. Bucket carries, tire flips, we'll be doing that pretty soon. Just getting ready for Trench.
Urban Fitness offers Trench training classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 in the morning and Tuesday afternoons. To abide by current restrictions, the event has been split into 2 days with staggered start times and limited participants.
I wanted to do the Trench in 2019, and I was pregnant. So over COVID, over the last, last year and a half with all of that, I started training for Trench in particular, using that as my motivation to get back at it. And every day I feel like I'm getting stronger, and I want to, I feel like I want to spread that with others, because just bettering yourself and doing it, it's a huge feeling. It's a huge rush. It's an inside and an outside transformation for me. So that's why this event is really important to me.
Trench Challenge, Guam's obstacle course race, is presented by the stations of KUAM, Michelob Ultra, and brought to you by U.S. Air Force Special Warfare, Rocky Mountain Precast, AutoWorks, and Upshift ENT.
For one is getting stronger. So we've been doing a lot of strength training classes, cardio classes, getting them ready for that. At the same time, starting to know the obstacles by carrying the heavy ones, and just getting them prepared to physically and mentally get through the obstacles. We're here to have fun. So the group I'm training right is more of the team, where there are a group of women getting together and wanting to finish the obstacles. Not a competitive one, just to finish it.
For more information, find Trench Events on Facebook and Instagram. Visit trenchevents.com or email info@trenchevents.com.
They were pushing me in ways that made it so I wanted to come work out, made it so that I wanted to be here. They gave me that accountability and that confidence. And I never thought I could even do a pull-up, and they have helped me to become able to do a pull-up, that's so life-changing. So for me, Urban Fitness is that community, and he challenges us.
The first event of this year's Dry Try series took place at the Guam Nico Hotel. Several gyms on island were represented by their athletes. Participants went home with a recovery bag that included a Fit Aid recovery drink, Fit Aid Go recovery powder, NACO BCAA energy drink, barbells, protein bars, and boxed water.
The event turned out better than we thought. We had a few dropouts due to a military exercise, so we were kind of nervous on the participation, but it turns out there was more people that wanted to do it than we thought. So we actually pushed through what our normal predictions were in signups. We're at about 32 signups of the 30 allotted signups, so we're doing a lot better than we thought. Just seeing the camaraderie amongst all the gyms and all the community just wanting to get out and do something with their fitness, and we were happy to provide that event.
The fitness competition started with a 4,000-meter bike, transitioned into a 6,000-meter row, followed by a 2-mile run.
I want to take part because it challenges my fitness, and I want to encourage members of my CrossFit gym to also partake in this kind of events too. The challenges was managing the lactic acid on my legs, trying to make sure they're fresh, and especially the running on the sand. That was a huge challenge right at the end.
The second round of the competition will take place August 28th, with the final round of the competition taking place on September 18th at the Guam Nico Hotel.
I'm a trainer at my CrossFit gym and also a health coach at my Golf Guam agency, GWA, and just trying to encourage more people to get their fitness back on, especially after this long year layoff from a lot of closures, a lot of restrictions. So it brings us all together.
Shout out to Class of 06 for winning this year's FD Alumni Tournament for the 8th time, beating out Class of 04 this year. Kids ages 7 to 12 years old are invited to register for the Guam Department of Agriculture's Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources Fishing Derby. The event is scheduled for August 28th at the Assen Beach Park. The derby is limited to the first 75 registered participants. To sign up, head on down to the Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources Administrative Office Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. Participants will also have to attend a mandatory 20-minute clinic on August 14th at the Mangilao Baseball Field. Deadline to register for the Derby is August 25th. Participants will also need to provide original birth certificates, passport, or a Guam or military ID. Copies won't be accepted. Congrats to Craft Guam for winning the first annual Custom Fitness Co-Ed Kickball Tournament. The team was made up of men's national soccer team players. Craft Guam defeated Moses in extra innings for the title. Over $2,000 in cash and prizes were awarded. Big thanks going out to FD for usage of the field. Shout out to Kill Pacific, Craft Guam, ERC Hardware, Michael J. Gatewood, The Bottle Shack, and KUAM for supporting the event. The event was held to support the Guam Women's National Rugby Team. Now for some Bud Light Women's Futsal League results. The Sidekicks FC toppled the previously undefeated Guam Shipyard Women's 6-2 in Week 5 play. Quality picked up the 18-2 win over Metro Pacific Inc. Islanders. Heavy hitters Nutrition Mission Southern Heat defeated Team Moses 2-1. Bank of Guam Lady Strikers earned the 12-2 win over the Southern Cobras. Regine ran a 12.17, which was her season best. It was the best time she ran the 100 in the past 2 years. The finishing time was also a big improvement from her 2016 Olympic debut in Rio.
I mean, just looking back at my journey, which, you know, started way back in 2016 when I decided, all right, I'm going to college. I'm going to be ready by 2020. And then here comes 2020 rolling around the corner, and the COVID-19 pandemic just threw a huge wrench into my plans. And then not only that, where tracks and gyms are closed, but the postponement of the Olympics itself was a huge detriment to my training. And I think it really boiled down to how much I wanted this, how badly I wanted to go and compete and run fast.
Regine did the best with what she had. She trained and dieted while out on sea on military orders. She's happy with the result, but competing in Tokyo made her even more hungrier for the next Olympic Games.
Reflecting on my performance, I think I'm a lot more hungrier now after the race in Tokyo than I was, you know, after going through the whole pandemic and all the things that, you know, changed my plan and everything. I'm much more, all right, let's fast forward to 2024. What do I need to do to get there, and how good do I want to be at that point? So definitely a lot hungrier now, and I, you know, set the bar really high for myself for the next 3 years.
She says she's thankful for the opportunity she was given to represent Guam in Tokyo. She credits her support system that helped her stay the course during the pandemic.
That's what makes the difference between, you know, being a good athlete and being a great athlete. That's what really pushes you over the edge. When you know you can fall back on your family, your friends, your teammates, your federation. Just the island in general is really what pushed me to, you know, get to the next level, and for that I'm very thankful.
Sports Link brought to you each week by Pure Alkaline Water, Marianas Irrigation and Landscape.
Hey, again, that was a Sports Link with the hardest working man in sports business, Dave Delgado, and it's proudly brought to you by Pure Alkaline Water and Marianas Irrigation and Landscape, your Shindaiwa and Echo Superstore. We offer everyday low prices on bush cutters, chainsaws, power washers, generators, and more. We also offer maintenance and repair services. Visit Marianas Irrigation and Landscape in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Jason Solis, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Thanks so much, Chris and Hafide, and welcome. And we bring back in our friends, Captains Eric and Carrie Rudd, respectively, left to right on your Zoom screen, TV screen if you guys are watching from the outside. And we are we're about like a day and change, let's just say, from Filling the Bus, this wonderful promotion that we here at KUM have been honored to take part in. And our friends over at the Salvation Army Guam chapter, tomorrow will meet us here at our Harmon Studios. We're going to fill that bus. Kloppenberg Enterprises is giving us one, and then we are going to make sure that all of your donations of school supplies, we've also had a need for Pampers for little kids, everything that kids need to go back and be successful in school. So, Captains Eric and Carrie, welcome back to the show. You guys know you have your own, basically a virtual parking space here at KUM. You guys are part of the family. And we really look forward to giving you all of the donations that so many people have just shown the compassion and, and the desire to help, like, really make kids do well in school this year.
We're really excited. It's just tomorrow. Tomorrow, what, 10 to 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
10 to 2 in front of your studios in Harmon. And the community, Twinkle's Toys, has donated 100 backpacks. LDS has donated 200 filled backpacks. Anderson Air Force Base, Bank of Guam, GTA. There's so many different corporate sponsors, and then private sponsors that have heard us on the radio and then stop by at our offices with just bags full of backpacks and school supplies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been incredible.
Yeah.
We're going to meet the goal of 500 kids this year.
Right.
We have 500 backpacks now. All we need really is the school supplies.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's really make that final push. Appeal to decency, appeal to educational success, appeal to humanity, and everything like that. What specific supplies are we in need of?
Okay, so we're looking for college ruled line paper, composition books, the 3-ring binders, rulers, pencils, pens, scissors, glue sticks, colored pencils, crayons, all the things that you think of with your kids. pick up an extra set of them and throw them in the bus when you are passing Harmon.
Can I get my very favorite things? I love those Peachies. Remember the Peachy folders?
Oh, nice.
Remember the Peachies? I could keep my entire semester's worth of work in one Peachy. That was
Yeah,
my
he was
goal.
not a scholar.
Hey, but I mean, and you should be happy at school. I mean, that is your figurative and literal. It's your home away from home, and you want to be successful, you want to be happy, you want to be comfortable, and you want to be on par with all the other students. And I get, and thank you, Captain Carey, for mentioning all of the corporate partners who came out and and donated. They were nice enough to let us take pictures with them. But there's also a lot of people who just whizzed by our studios and said, like, I'm camera shy, or people just want to do so anonymously, and they're like, I'm not seeking any recognition or anything like that. I just want to help kids and everything. So thank you to each and every one of you. We respect the fact that a lot of you, don't, shy away from the limelight. That's totally cool. But, your contribution is going to be felt, and you are part of the solution. So thank you as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Especially all those quiet people that just come in and do their part and then just go about their business. It's a blessing. It's wonderful.
And if there's any folks that are in need of backpacks and they're not sure how to get them, you're going to want to call Maricel at our food pantry, because it's going through all of the food pantry clients at 477-9855, and she will sign you up. We'll make sure that your kids get set up with backpacks filled with all of the gear.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll make sure that you're taken care of. Just give us a call.
And she's a Sanchez High grad, so she's going to take care of business, because that's what we do.
That's right.
Okay, and now I must say, captains, because we are kind of on a timeline here and everything, like beginning of school is on Monday. Once we actually fill the bus and have the bus taken back, to your facility and everything like that, tell us about distribution.
Okay, so as soon as the bus is filled, we're meeting GTA volunteers back at our Teason location. They're going to unload it and they're going to pack them up that same day. So we're going to have them all packed by this weekend, by Saturday evening, and we're going to be passing them out starting next week.
All right.
So it's going to be like
boom, boom,
all happening at the same time.
Yeah, because for students and for those of you like clergy members and everything, Sunday is the day of rest. Got to get ready for the first day of school and everything like that, and then we are doing back to school like champs.
You got it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we are so as I said, I can never say this enough. We're so honored to be able to work with you, and just the fact that you guys have let us, tag along for the ride, metaphorically and everything like that. I mean, it's always a pleasure to work with you guys, because you guys do such good work for the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. KUAM is like just the top of our list. You guys are so generous, and you are so community minded, and we thank you for partnering with us. You guys are a blessing, and you are vital community members. We appreciate you.
Well, we are trying to go above and beyond, captains, because I was going to say, we call it fill the bus, but personally, I'm looking to overflow the bus.
Yeah, there you go. Good.
Yeah, let's overachieve. That's what we do on Guam. All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right.
All right.
Bless you guys.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks so much. And let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we will talk. Yeah. Or tell you what, let's go ahead and take a look at news in Guam's native tongue. Here's Chamorro News with Uncle King Concepcion.
Buenos napadays to get some to be sa morgan ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank. I Departamento de Salud Publiko dan i Departamento ng Edukasyon Guahan banusan matutuhan na SNAP Pandemic EBT na programa. EBT na card siya sa para di siya mangkwalifikan na famagun na estudyante gi eskolang publiko. Di siya matsuli card niya disti January gi Agosto hasta dia 27, dia 30 dan dia 31 dan dia 1 gi September disti alas 11 gi egan hasta alas 6 gi papuengi gi Micronesia Mall Center Court. Debidun la hestra hofinen na gi tinyurl.com/PEBT Guam zaong gaizu sedula ni Gailit Ratu. EBT na programa sa Kulantaygizi Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP, ni pero na juda mantak pa magaganan na familia siya. Sa makonsidera loko nagwahan na biyahe na 70 matsuli ng kanu eskwela siya. Kaniman mahusong sa pandemic. Otro mas, Azia Raymond Hiringi Webes para si Andrew Manibusan sa mascheduled nuevo sa Taigi Guiniguahan. Gihunyo na mes maresta sa Manibusan sa California, lodis sa pago ta may extradite magiguahan. Mafatsututu edis sa pago plano ni Finetonia. Masaki si Manibusan na meo paketigin ng California niya sa gunin di 3,600 grama na meth. Irumisibigin ni magigizagwahan sa ginin polisiya sa opisyal di Department of Corrections si Jose Ananich. Maresta lo si Ananich gihunyo na mes, lumasyo ikaw sound niya. Mascheduled na hearing sa Manibusan para 10 Agosto. Talo suntugin ni polisiya Maresta después guaharum report mamaki gipangin Merkulis. Give you ni stamper road na talang is a dedo sa Maresta si Kenneth Rages ang 45 anos na edad. Dan si Janessa Taidinko 30 anos na edad. Matuli ni polisia un package ano 35 grama na meth. 22 Maresta put binenu. No si Rages ang Maresta put mas na kinanta DC put MP2 dyan na napakpakipakinya. Masa suntu, como ginin po maseo huzong giisla untunga este reglamento ni temano po nakabali sa D-Health Declaration Form dagin matuha magigwahan do Departamento Salud Publico sa Nisabesyon Sosyal sa mana mas labiano esti. Sino nakabali sa na form antes di ulani bat ko na magigwahan como managwato gi sa website di Public Health gdphss.guam.gov. Todi pasahero ni man mafatu sa debut mafill out na dokumento. Informasyon sa mana sasabi pero mana fansano di man pasasehu giadzi Sarah Alert na sistema para symptom monitoring. Yuto muna asunto para paguna bedness, Interagency Council on Homelessness, dani Office of Homelessness and Poverty Prevention sa manali paguna dia. Segundo Gobyerno Justin Oreo sa mensahe at new homeowner assistance na programa nung mafatitinas para fanadzuda ye napasguma ihanum dani candidate dan taxi propiedad. Yung programa sa patigwihi gizo ni opisina ni Departamento ng Administrasyon ni para madzuda itataw siya yung gasto na kilon. Malsa informasyon sa para madiskuti gimiting niya yung otro mes. Para Guam News Network, Guausikin Conception. Yasuto yung finutsamuro sa presenta sa ninafatto ni Familia Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
June makes the best malasadas in Hawaii, a fact not lost on Daryl, whose brother Byron is cooking the onaga he caught at his secret fishing spot with his girlfriend Malia, who used to work for the Shave Ice Guy, whose second cousin Vince drives the school bus ridden by Calais, whose auntie makes the best malasadas in Hawaii. Everything here is connected, and with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances, and it all starts with yes.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KYM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out. We're on a mission to fill the bus with necessary school supplies and food for our island's children in need. The KUAM Care Force and Salvation Army, along with our partners GTA, Twinkles, Anderson Air Force Base, and Kloppenburg Enterprises, are collecting necessary items including school supplies and food items to help send our community's youngest and most vulnerable members back to school. New backpacks, notebooks, pencils, pens, crayons, and other donations are welcome, as well as food pantry items. Please do your part and give every child a chance to learn, grow, be nourished, and have a wonderful return to school. You may drop off your supplies to our Harmon Studios weekdays between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. up until Friday, August 6th, or come down to our finale between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 7th, where we'll be attempting to fill the bus with all your donations. Rise up to the challenge, embrace radical generosity, and help us fill the bus for Salvation Army and kids in need. See the complete list of items being accepted on KUAM.com.
After a year with so many games and events delayed or unplayed, the world is ready for anything and everything in the world of sports. KUAM Communications is ready with more games, more championships, and more specials that are guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the action and excitement. Brought to you locally by Michelob Ultra, Superior Light Beer, Marianas Irrigation and Landscape, and Docomo Pacific. Just more great reasons to tune in and turn on so you'll fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. Catching your favorite events during the Tokyo 2020 Summer Games has never been easier. In addition to the KUAM TV8 broadcast presentations of the July 23rd opening ceremony, the competitions you look most forward to, and the poignant closing ceremony, you can stream the specific events you want to watch through NBCOlympics.com and the NBC Sports app. Visit KUAM's website and click on any of the Tokyo 2020 banner ads and you will be whisked away to all the action. If streaming sports in the Summer Games is on your personal viewing schedule, then look no further than KUAM.com for links to watch the Tokyo 2020 Summer Games. Get yourself all caught up with the week's games, scores, and highlights with the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup on KUAM News Weekend Edition. It's all inclusive, all the fun and all the action wrapped up in the perfect presentation. Relive the moments on the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup, brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G. The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
June makes the best malasadas in Hawaii, a fact not lost on Daryl, whose brother Byron is cooking the onaga he caught at his secret fishing spot with his girlfriend Malia, who used to work for the Shave Ice Guy, whose second cousin Vince drives the school bus ridden by Calais, whose auntie makes the best malasadas in Hawaii. Everything here is connected, and with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances, and it all starts with yes.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentation, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, Bud Light Seltzer, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
Get yourself all caught up with the week's games, scores, and highlights with the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup on KUAM News Weekend Edition. It's all inclusive, all the fun and all the action wrapped up in the perfect presentation. Relive the moments on the KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup, brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
Anytime I want my half, I need it. I'll be present in a New York minute. Don't deceive me now, you know it's business. And it's been a long time, fortunately mine, playing on my soul.
Welcome back to the show, everybody, here on a Friday. Normally, a retreat has a connotation of like you scale back or like you're withdrawing and everything like that. I'm going to tell you about a retreat now that basically had a bunch of young people really make some progress and really move forward. It was the Inafamalik Manhoban Marianas Cultural Immersion Retreat, and it ran last month. We have several members of the organization right there. They're going to share their experiences, what they learned, and why this was so meaningful to them. Let's get started right in the middle of the KUM News Zoom room with Miss Eva with the Inafa Malik Youth. Good morning and hafaday. Always good to see you. Oops. Oh, got to unmute.
Tumalo. That's usually what happens on Zoom. Buenas and good morning. Have a day. Buenos dias. Jason, Chris, Sabrina, KUAM, our family here at KUAM. Thank you for having us on again. I'm really excited to bring our youth from across the Marianas here. We have a representation from Guahan, Luta, Tinian, and Saipan. So just to kind of introduce what we're doing and a reminder of who we are, Inafa Malik Youth Heritage Program is a program that's designed for Indigenous youth to empower themselves by connecting to our roots and to each other. So they'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the 2-week immersion trip that we had in Luta and the kind of impacts that it made in their lives. In addition to that trip, we did have, we came on earlier in KUAM and we were soliciting people to join our summer camps. So our summer camp kind of expanded to all of the islands, and we did have the one that was running out of Sagan Kutsuran Samoru for about 5 weeks on Guahan. And then we also had satellite camps at each of the islands where the youth on those islands also got the opportunity to be a part of Inafa Malik Youth and to take field trips and participate in different cultural activities. So again, our 2-week retreat was the culmination of those sessions and also just brought all of the youth together. One of our intentions was to really celebrate our culture, understand the things that connect us, and to embrace each other again in this generation as one Marianas. So again, this was made possible. Inafa Malik Youth Heritage Program is run out of Sanctuary Incorporated, a grant awarded by the Administration of Native Americans. And this particular grant, Inafa Malik Manhoban Marianas, was granted to us by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. And so we collaborated with CNMI Indigenous Affairs and the Rhoda Mayor's Office. And I just want to go ahead and shout out all of our collaborators who really made this happen, because none of that would have been possible without our staff, the dedication from the Rhoda Mayors and Indigenous Affairs. We really helped take care of these kids while we were in Luta. So again, thank you for having us. We are happy to bring and to share some good news about what's happening and what's coming up in our islands.
Very cool. Okay, so I'd like to go around. I'm going to call each of you out just to do some introductions and everything like that, and say where you're from. So let's start with Landon in the orange shirt there. Hafaday, Landon.
Hafaday, my name's Landon Atale. I come from the island of Rhoda.
All right, Luta in the house.
Yeah.
On a clear day, if we go all the way up to the most northern part of Guam, like almost near the Air Force Base and everything, we can see you guys. True story. On a real clear day, we can see Luta. So very good to have you here. We've also got Melody and Constance Cruz. Buenas, ladies.
Buenas. I'm Melody. I'm from the island of Guam. I'm Constance, and I'm from the island of Guam.
Okay, what village are you guys?
Santa Rita.
Okay. 828 phone code. Very nice. So good to have you guys. Wait, 828 is Santa Rita, right?
No, it's 565.
Oh, 565. Oh, yeah. Wait, what am I? No, 828 is that's Marita. Oh, man. I need to look at the phone book more. I've been on my cell phone too much. Okay, so let's go to Wilson right now. So, Hafaday Wilson, man, I love that virtual background, dude.
Just Marcy. Buenas and Hafaday. My name is Wilson Tadeo, born and raised on the beautiful island of Saipan, although I now reside here on the beautiful island of Guam.
Very cool. Okay, where in Saipan are you from?
Cagman.
Nice. I've got friends in Cagman. Very, very nice. Okay, let's go to Gerald Castro. Gerald, how you doing, man?
Hello, good morning. My name's Gerald, and I'm from the island of Saipan.
Okay, cool. Whereabouts in Saipan?
Cagman.
Okay. Hey, we got 2 Cagman kids here. Very, very cool. Hopefully some more. Let's go to Lucas Manglonia right now. Lucas, outside. That's a great shot. Good weather today, man. How you doing, bro?
Good morning. My name is Lucas. I'm from the island of Tinian.
Hey, all right. Half a day to Tinian. All of our familia up in Tinian. Hello to you across the Marianas here. And last but certainly not least, we have Hombre Hokog. Half a day. Buenas.
Good morning. My name is Hombre Hokog, and I am from the island of Tinian.
All right. Very nice. Okay, so we got a really, really good mix here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me just ask you real quick. Raise your hand if you guys speak Chamorro at home, like full time.
Do it.
Okay, cool. That's a good mix, and I think very representative. So when and you guys can just unmute yourselves and jump in here as you see fit. But when you guys took part in this immersive retreat, where you were surrounded by, our shared culture, and we always say one Marianas, right? We speak the same language. We have the same sense of family. Reverence for women, taking care of our young, respecting our elders, and everything like that. When you were completely surrounded with that and immersed with that in the experience, what did that mean to you about your sense of self and being able to interact with other people and how you now know your heritage? Just go ahead, just jump in, you guys, as you see fit. It's cool.
I thought that it was really great meeting people from other islands because at first I thought that we were all different, but when we got together in Rota, I found out that we are all the same and we can all relate in a lot of things.
Very, very true. That's a beautiful message, Lucas. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so anybody else want to share about maybe what you learned about our culture that you maybe didn't know prior? Anything like about language or about like traditions or customs that we have, or maybe even some like Lucas said, maybe some of the things that maybe are differences between Guam and Tinian and Rota and Saipan, but then now we know that we're basically more alike than you might think.
I think they're shy. So
no problem. Okay, well, I don't speak like the best Chamorro, but I know the word mamalao, and that's completely okay because it's okay to be bashful. That's cool because having some humility and showing respect, of course, is a big part of our culture. So Miss Eva, maybe you can set it up a little bit. What was the program like, and exactly what types of activities did these amazing young people go through?
Yeah. Why don't we talk about one of the things we can talk about maybe was the island sharing. Can one of you tag in about sharing about your islands and how you got to do that and what that felt like?
So we had this activity and we were talking all about our islands and explaining the differences of what we had. And I'm from Guam, and learning about all the other islands and how much Guam is bigger than them, it really showed a difference because we're more modernized than how it is on the other islands. And even with speaking Chamorro and understanding it, most of us from Guam, we didn't grow up with that type of opportunity. Yeah, to hear it. We're more in when they talk to us, it's more in English, so we didn't really understand it. But being in Rota and being around that type of with those type of people, we appreciate it more, basically.
Yes.
That's a very good point. Okay, now can I ask you, did you guys spend some time talking about the differences we have between all four of the islands when it comes to food? Yeah, tell me about the food, because I've lived on Guam almost my entire life, and until I actually went up and visited my friends in Saipan, and had the apigigi and had the ice keki and everything like that, I was like, okay, this is a completely different thing. I'm in love. I've fallen in love twice in my life. Apigigi was the other time. Yeah, so tell me about some of the differences in food.
Yeah, tell him about the indigenous ice keki that you guys got in NMI.
in Tinian and Rhoda, it's like mostly fresh foods, and then but like in Saipan, there's like a lot of fast food places, but there's still like some fresh foods in Saipan. And then even in Guam, like I don't think fresh food is that common there, is it?
Well, we got a lot of restaurants and we got a lot of fast food places, but you know we try and have that's a very good point, Lucas, because we try and have, you know, like there's farmers markets that are here now. You know, we try and encourage people like to learn about our agricultural practices from our ancestors and everything, and you know, like live up, you know, be able to live from the land too.
You know what's interesting, guys, is so if you're from the NMI, right, when you're coming to Guam, all the Guam people, they want kind of the same thing, right? If they know you're coming from Luta, they're like, oh, can you bring a zuzu, or oh, can you bring kamuti, right? If you're coming from NMI or Saipan, it's like, oh, can you bring a pigigi, or oh, can you bring the blueberry bread, right? So how about the ones from Guam here? What do we bring from Guam to the NMI?
McDonald's.
Yeah. Hey, I'm proud to be from Guam too. I'm proud of the way we barbecue here. Like we take a lot of pride, like in all of our village fiestas, in the way we barbecue. If it's chicken, if it's pork, if it's ribs, and everything like that. That says a lot about what neighborhood you're from, what village you're from, what family you're from.
But when you eat at a table in the NMI, and you guys know, of course, I love Guam, but and probably Guam people are gonna hate on me for this, but there's just so many things you don't even see. Right? Like they have all that pickled papaya, the orange one, the coco they call it. There's always a zuzu. I mean, here in Guam, like, our zuzu, it's a pot in the back for, you know, the family. But there, I freaked out when I ate, like, whoa, damn, everybody gets like 2 zuzu. Right? And you're right, there's so much fresh. There's like, okay, you want tinali guaca, you want, you know, any kind of fresh. When I was in Tinian, you're right, it was all cow, everything.
Yeah. I think one of the things that they were sharing with me earlier, and maybe a couple of them can speak on this, is part of aside from, or in addition to the culture and the language that we were, you know, immersed in, it was also just the natural resources that exist, like in Rhoda. So just the abundance of everything, like what Chris is talking about, how you can go to a hosting, like a dinner, and there's like, you know, they have some lobster on the table if that's the season, or they have the tinala. So maybe one of the boys can talk about the abundance of resources that they were witnessing, or maybe si hombre, you can share a little bit about your appreciation for that in Luta.
In Rhoda, I didn't expect it to be that beautiful and abundant of like resources. It showed me that like is it okay if I talk about like my experience on Rhoda, Senora?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, please share.
All right. So like Rhoda really opened my eyes and changed me as a person and the way I view my culture. It changed me because before I went on that trip, I held a lot of ego. I held a lot of anger, complaints, and war with myself. But the people I was surrounded by totally made me forget about all of that. They made me genuinely happy with myself and everyone and everything around me. They made me not worry about the past or the future, only the present, because after all, life is a gift. Living in the present, life is a gift. Without this program, I probably would have never been able to remember who I am as a Chamorro, especially with all that's going on now in the world. But this Afamalik program gave me a chance, gave me an opportunity. And God knows I'm more than glad that I took advantage of that. I could only imagine how I would be living if I hadn't have gone. The reason I'm so confident and happy to be here with you guys right now is honestly because of the program. The program made me forget all my worries and made me question what even is worry? Does that even exist? When I say Rhoda and Afamalik or something else, I mean it. especially since I consider myself spiritually woken. Rhoda and the whole Anaphemolic really made me appreciate literally everything, from the fresh air we breathe, to the birds flying freely in the sky, to all the clouds that pass by. Nothing but beauty. It's all in the way you think. Quote, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Thank you.
Tell you, man, nicely done.
Thank you.
And you know what? I want to end there because that was absolutely beautiful. But Miss Ava, I want to end on this real quick. There were a bunch of pictures, we showed them and everything. I know you captured like the experience and everything like that. Is there any place on social media where people can find out, maybe follow you guys or see more?
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to just put a disclaimer that we were so busy being immersed that we didn't post a lot of what we have. So we have the youth who are going to be taking over the page and who will be posting up. But you can always follow us on Instagram. That's at Anaphemolic Youth. And then also on Facebook, the same thing. It's Anaphemolic Youth. So thank you for giving us this time and a very wonderful share of what kinds of impacts that we've made and what we've taken with us. If you need a de-stress or find some peace of mind, go up to Luta because it is the best, right? It's the best place to be. So
and you can hang out with Hombre and you can share that amazing sentiment again. Hombre, I don't know what your career aspirations are, but if you ever want to work in tourism, come to Guam and you can work for GVB over here because that was a beautiful message. They really appreciate it. You got a wonderful career in visitor arrivals, my friend. Okay, guys, thank you very much. We got to go to commercial break, but thank you for sharing your words, your feelings, and your pride.
All right.
Okay, adjust. We'll see you guys, and we'll see you guys with more of The Link when we return right after this. University of Guam.
KUAM Digital presents a series highlighting the wide array of talents on our island. Whether they're a standout gamer, extreme athlete, performer, or have a unique skill to show off, we're showcasing them every month on Wow Factor. Brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the do.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
The Culture Club returns to KUAM Digital and KUAM News Weekend Edition, highlighting Guam's young artists, activists, and crafters as they work to protect, preserve, and promote our Chamorro culture. Watch this weekly feature on the digital platforms of KUAM News Weekend Edition, brought to you by Hanum.
June makes the best malasadas in Hawaii, a fact not lost on Daryl, whose brother Byron is cooking the onaga he caught at a secret fishing spot with his girlfriend Malia, who used to work for the Shave Ice Guy, whose second cousin Vince drives the school bus ridden by Calais, whose auntie makes the best malasadas in Hawaii. Everything here is connected, and with the new First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, you can stay just as connected to your finances, and it all starts with yes.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KOAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KOAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KOAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage, with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco, with Kin Conception. Seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, Bud Light Seltzer, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
Yeah, are you Monday's child? Cause your favorite face is the only thing I see when I walk in the place. I watch you glow in the sun as you walk past me slowly. I whisper, take a breath and say, oh man, if only. But no, not even one look, not even a glance. I'll go home to feel like, man, I'll never get a chance. One day I promise my motivations will change when I've got nothing left to lose and everything to gain. I'll drop sweet lines, ask if you like the way my band plays. I ask you what you're signing, what you usually do on Saturdays, and if you've had any dreams that have ever come true. And if you can see in me all the things I see in you, even if we don't have a future, could we still have a past? Do things, go to places, make memories to last. I swear I don't want a lifetime, wanna meet me in the nighttime for 3 or 2 or 1 night. Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Yeah, just show me it's the right time. I'm Friday's child. I'm loving and giving. Born under.
All right, everybody. As the song so famously says, it's not easy being green. And if you are a student or alumni of the University of Guam, that's what makes going to the University of Guam so special, because you got to earn it. You got to work for your education, and that is part of the value of going to the very fine institution of higher learning and getting that degree. And we are fortunate to have people like Dr. Lawrence Camacho, the dean up at Triton State U, and Joanne Sudo, who's a recruiter and academic advisor, to talk about orientation, because guys, we've been talking about so much about back to school next week for public school students. You guys are also anticipating a big influx as UOG begins its fall semester. So Hafaday, welcome to the show.
Hey, really, Hafaday and Buenas, thank you for the opportunity. I'll always thank you, KUM team, to for bringing us on the net here, on the link, to talk about the exciting things that are happening at the university, right? So one cool thing that's really exciting is for us here at the university is there's all this energy, as I mentioned before in the previous segments, is that we have over 900 students right now that have applied to come to the university. So that is a great deal. Now we just need to get them all registered, and that's what Joanne and the team over at the Triton Welcome Center are doing, along with all of our advisors across the campus, with the Triton Advising Center and all the different advising coordinators in the different colleges and schools in the university, who are trying to reach out to the students who were with us in the spring and even the fall semester before the spring of last year, to come back and register for the courses. We're excited. We're there in terms of registering our students for this upcoming Fenachana semester, but we just need all the remaining students to continue on that effort to get themselves registered and ready for class. Classes begin on the 18th of August. And, when we hit the ground running, we're going to have in-person classes, face-to-face classes all throughout the semester is what we anticipate. We're excited about that. We're eventually getting off of a three semester plus several in-between sessions where it was all virtual. Now we're excited to welcome our students back into the classrooms. Now, there are a lot of things that we're obviously going to ensure happens in order to make this all become a very safe operation for all of us, all of our faculty, our staff, administrators, and then of course our students to be safe in this environment. We have to ensure that everyone is vaccinated when they come to class, and everyone is complying with all the protocols and all the procedures that we still need to ensure that we continue to not spread the infection or the infectious disease. So coming back to school is going to be wonderful. It's going to be a great experience, continued quality academic experience for all of our students, and all the support efforts around that outside of the classroom is what we're in charge of here at the Enrollment Management and Student Success, to ensure we provide that support to all the academic deans and programs, so that our students all around get the complete wraparound support for student success.
Mm-hmm. Now I want to go to Joanne, because Joanne, I know this as well as anybody and everything, like registering, class registration, getting academic advisement and everything, even in a normal collegiate setting, can be treacherous waters. I mean, there's a bunch of people that want to do it at the same time, so you get this logjam effect and everything. And that's just for, returning students. For first-time collegians, it's insane, because you don't know, what classes do I take, in what order. I'm not sure what I should major in and everything like that. And here we are in these times of, we're trying to get better from the pandemic. We're still in the middle of it and everything like that. So maybe if I can extend to you the opportunity to give like a verbal FAQ section, right? What are some of the questions that tend to bubble up the most about returning to school or going to school for the first time?
Thank you for that. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joanne Sudo. I am one of the recruiters here at the university. Since COVID times, we've opened up our Triton Welcome Center. We are located to the left of the UOG Cowell Fieldhouse. And it's kind of like a one-stop shop for everyone and anyone that needs to kind of get their bearings about the college life, where to go, how to apply. They have questions about financial aid. A lot of these confusing terms come into play. Students think that they are registered when they only applied for the enrollment. And what we need to do is we walk them through the process of submitting all the required documents, from your health updated records to submitting your official high school transcripts, even to take your placement, just showing you the location not too many people are very familiar with what the campus looks like, and therefore we hold these new student orientation. Our next one coming up is next week, Wednesday, August 11th from 8 to 12. And it's a great opportunity for all our brand new freshmen that are graduating from our local high schools, transferring students that do not understand the campus life, to come in, meet and greet with our UOG leaders, do a small campus tour, learn about their academic program, and really reach out to the resources that are available. We also understand that last year we had a virtual NSO our second time around, and those students themselves were not familiar with campus life. So we are also inviting them to attend our new student orientation so that they feel acclimated and they're not having anxiety come August 18th when they have to attend school for the first time. We're also doing a welcome back open registration on August 12th and 13th, where everything will be under one roof under the BOG Fieldhouse. So they don't have to go around to the different offices. Everything's going to be all set together like a one-stop shop where we can get you all the information you need without having to stress or feel the anxiety of not knowing what to do.
Yeah, you're giving me goosebumps remembering when I was a freshman, because I mean, UOG's, it's a very intimate campus by design. It's a family atmosphere. It's very cozy. It's very, welcoming. But if you're a freshman, the first day you set foot on the campus, it seems like the biggest place in the world, and you have no idea where to go and everything like that. So people like you are helping navigate those waters.
Yes, I used to throw that idea out there, like, you're a UOG student when you know where all the offices are, because you would have to do all that. But we understand we are short on time, and we want to just get our students ready and prepared. They get excited about the first day. The last thing we want them to do is have anxiety about where to go, what to do. So we're doing our best for the next 2 weeks to prepare them as much as possible.
Right on. Okay, so Dean Lawrence, we're running out of time too. Unfortunately, time is something that none of us have a great deal of and everything. But I wanted to give the last word to you, if I may, because now that Joanne is getting kids ready for what they have to do, what paperwork they might have to fill out, and where they have to go, can you just speak real briefly about mentally how students returning to class or students coming and beginning their collegiate experience for the first time, what headspace they have to be in as they begin this journey?
Just be on the mindset to understand, first of all, the fact that they're in this endeavor to make themselves better, right, in life, right, to develop and to become a contributor to society, to be a leader, to be a problem solver, to be a designer for that future that they're looking forward to. This is the place to come to that, and this is the time to do that. In the midst of all the things that are happening in society and in the world, come to the university and understand more about that society and that world, but also come on how to and learn how to prepare yourself so that you can contribute to that world and that society. The academics here are quality. The support services, we're excited about everything that's going on, all the different things. And then we have the support, like the mental health support as well, for those students who are going to be under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. To be able to kind of guide them through that. We're excited. Again, we got the Student Government Association inauguration this weekend. They're excited to start being student leaders. I'm excited about Joanne and the team over at the Trident Welcome Center, developing those student ambassadors who are selling the programs. And we're thankful for the great, wonderful programs and the faculty and administrators, all the deans across the university who are all together in this effort. To make the best experience for our students coming to the university.
All right. The Bright Minds of Tomorrow are beginning today, and technically August 18th at the University of Guam. And certainly for the efforts of Dean Lawrence Camacho and Joanne Studo and their many colleagues and teammates over at UOG. You guys are doing a great job getting everybody ready for that. So we thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.
As always, thank you for your partnership.
Thank you for having us again.
All right. Justin, good luck with the fall semester. We are going to take a break, but stay tuned, because when we come back, Chris and Bree are going to grab something to eat, and they're taking you along for the ride. Feed Me Friday is up next.
Summer is KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale. We're on a mission to fill the bus with necessary school supplies and food for our island's children in need. The KOAM Care Force and Salvation Army, along with our partners GTA, Twinkles, Anderson Air Force Base, and Kloppenburg Enterprises, are collecting necessary items including school supplies and food items to help send our community's youngest and most vulnerable members back to school. New backpacks, notebooks, pencils, pens, crayons, and other donations are welcome, as well as food pantry items. Please do your part and give every child a chance to learn, grow, be nourished, and have a wonderful return to school. You may drop off your supplies to our Harmon Studios weekdays between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. up until Friday, August 6th, or come down to our finale between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 7th, where we'll be attempting to fill the bus with all your donations. Rise up to the challenge, embrace radical generosity, and help us fill the bus for Salvation Army and kids in need. See the complete list of items being accepted on KUAM.com.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Lately I've been thinking about the time I spent and taking back the cries that I am forced to hear. Building up these bridges just to burn them down again, and putting out the fires with the tears. Cause so much of a good thing can cause you to worry, and it's just a cry and shame when it's gone. The heart is a pure way, but never in a hurry. You can wish, you can wait, but that's all you can take on the front lines. Yes, you're on the front lines of love. I'm constantly reminded that I am all
Good stuff.
alone.
Hot Box 949.
Walking these
It's Friday.
streets
Good
with a
morning.
solitary
Morning, morning, morning.
That's Vic Mopness, right?
I believe it is. I want to say it is.
Is he from the Barragata Mopness family?
I don't know.
I know some of them. They are musically inclined.
He's from the Guam Mopness family.
Nice.
Morning, Bree.
Good morning.
How you doing over there? Been working hard this morning, huh?
Maybe a little bit.
Did you guys try those beignets that I brought? My mom found those at the gas station. They're
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You guys also had something to eat recently.
Yeah, we did. Very recently. Feed Me Fridays, guys. It's brought to you by our friends at King's Restaurant this morning, where we get into the fried rice, okay, over at King's. So here it is. We do it every Friday right here on the link. Feed Me Fridays. Good morning.
It's Feed Me Fridays on the link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday, Guam, and Devondale.
Here at King's Harmon, our neighbors in Harmon Village for Feed Me Fridays, and we absolutely love King's Bree. It's just the go-to place for me for local comfort food. The breakfast is always great, and we're really focusing on the fried rices. They have just a bunch of great fried rices, and so we asked our followers on Instagram to decide what we were going to eat today, and
there were two choices. Oh no, it was a whole menu of fried rice.
right, yeah. Like I said, they have about 80 different fried rices here.
And they're all good.
Yeah, they are. Brian, but the top two finishers were
the chorizo fried rice and the Kahlua pig fried rice.
Kahlua pork.
Pork.
Yeah, I mean, it's
kind of the
big.
same, right?
I know,
Yeah,
you're right,
okay.
yeah. Same smell. So the winner is actually the Kahlua pork fried rice, which is, this is one of the newer fried rices on the menu.
I don't think I've tried it,
I've never tried it.
but I'm about to.
I know you're about to mess this Kahlua fried rice up. But what is Kahlua pork?
It's a Hawaiian dish, actually. And so usually it's made and put in like a tea leaf.
Oh,
And
nice.
they soak it in sea salt. But this, it doesn't come obviously in a tea leaf. So
Right,
I'm thinking
yeah.
that they probably maybe put it in a, is it a crock pot or something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely tender. They
Yeah.
shred it up,
Mhm.
and it's so flavorful because it's a longer cooking process. And of course, they got their special seasonings and stuff in there. But it isn't just Kahlua pork in your fried rice, is it?
No, let me take a closer look and I'll try it out.
Right.
Let you know what's in it. But I do right off the bat, I see corn, and then it comes with your choice of eggs. So for me,
Right.
I got over hard.
Over hard.
Over hard.
Right.
What do you have?
I have the chorizo fried rice, which this is one of my favorites. You've also got bacon in your fried rice. Sorry, I'm looking
Oh, I
at Bree's
thought-
fried rice.
Oh yeah, it is bacon.
Yeah, that's bacon.
I
So
thought it was part of it.
This is like a double pork blast.
Mm. It's pretty Ono.
Oh, it's Ono. Oh no, you didn't. What are you tasting though?
I definitely can taste the bacon, and there's a lot of Kahlua pork in it.
How about that corn? Does it provide a little like
Crunch.
crispy?
Mm-hmm. Texture.
I've got the chorizo fried rice here. You know, I also wanted to talk a little bit about King's Toast. Like, I don't know, their toast is the best. It comes buttered, which is how all toast should come. And I just had to get a side of toast with our fried rices here. The chorizo fried rice, I mean, you know what you're getting with this.
Is that spicy? Try some of this. What else? They have longanisa fried rice.
Yep, the salmon fried
The
rice.
Tinala.
They have a Tinala fried rice?
No, I don't think they have the
Try
Tinala
this
fried
one.
rice. Okay.
There is a
Try
little
that one.
spice to it.
Mhm.
Mm. Oh, we're getting serious over here.
Yep. That's really flavorful.
It's so good.
You're right, it does have a little
Oh,
bit
sure,
of spice.
Bree, I'd like to try some of yours.
Sure, you could try some.
Oh, wow, thanks for offering.
You're welcome.
Things I gotta go through. Oh, no, save some for you.
Yeah.
That's good, that's good, that's good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm on a
One
diet.
more? Okay. He always makes me out to look like I'm some mean, bad Bree.
Mmm. Bree,
Good, right?
it's really simple. Mm.
I'm gonna try it with the finadine.
Yeah, the Finadines.
The finadine.
Me too. Of course, you gotta.
It adds
look-
that tart taste to it.
They do the vinegar Finadini here.
Mm-hmm.
They also got the Pacific Red Hot Denanchi. You can also soy sauce your Finadini up if you want, but this is just.
There's actually also cabbage. Forgot to mention that.
In there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's healthy. Mine has, there's some carrot. what do you call that? Shredded carrot. Some green onion. I want to just get crazy in here, guys.
All right.
Crazy. Put some of my egg. That butter. I like getting my eggs sunny side up, crispy bottom. I gotta have a runny yolk.
The one thing I like about King's is that you can come here anytime because they're always open after, you know, a game, after, you know, a night out, after church.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
After work, like we do.
During work.
So this has been another episode of Feed Me Friday. We want to thank Kings for having us here.
Sorry there wasn't a lot of talking this one. It's just so good. And I'm hungry. And when you're hungry, Bree, King's is just really the place to go because they've got so many great comfort dishes. I mean, fried rice, it's not just for breakfast anymore. This is an all-day thing. And you can get it all day. And even at night, too.
This has been Feed Me Fridays. Thanks for
Thank
watching.
you.
It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and
The name implies we do that at the end of the week, each and every week. When your job is literally to go out and try awesome food, not a bad gig. One Micronesia podcast. Here's a teaser, real quick, where Vic interviews the flag bearer for the FSM and Olympian on One Micronesia podcast.
The One Micronesia Update is presented by Taco Bell and Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Afade, Mogasin, and in this case, Rananim, and welcome to the One Micronesia podcast. I know, the look is kind of like, whoa, what is happening here? What happened to the Zoom? We deleted the Zoom app. I'm just kidding. We love you, Zoom. But we kind of want to switch it up here. I mean, we're slowly getting into what we used to call somewhat of a normalcy. So we're getting back into that. So I thought, why not, do a face-to-face? And actually, he kind of pushed to like, hey, you want to do a face-to-face? I'm like, you know what? Why not? The island is slowly opening up. Of course, we got to follow different protocols, but hey, we got this. So I was like, you know what? I got to do this. And why not meet face-to-face with the guy who it was not this size of a flag, a bigger flag, a more legit, more official FSM flag. And he took it around the track at the opening ceremony of the one, the only Tokyo 2020. So ladies and gentlemen, with me here today on the podcast, who I'm grateful and to have here is Scott James Fitti. Bro, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I was honored to be here.
The One Micronesia Update is presented by Taco Bell and Docomo Pacific. Better together.
All right, and we are back. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock, KUAM FM, Magotany, Guam on the breeze. This is The Link. Jay, we got a little KUAM trivia here to do.
Yes, okay. So we've been doing this because it is KUAM's 65th anniversary. Quality programming on KUAM TV8. We very, very are happy of our lineage with number 8. So today's question, our trivia question is...
All right, hold on. We're going to take the first correct caller, 637-0094, and you are going to win...
a prize. We got a really good prize for you guys.
A prize.
It might be the bag. It might be something else.
It might be a gift
It's
certificate.
Surprise.
It could be some Cinnabon. It could be whatever. We're gonna put something together for you guys.
Okay, so today's trivia question is, put your thinking caps on, because in the early days of KUAM, what popular variety show was hosted by a local businessman whose name was in the title of the show? It's a local businessman.
Right.
This is in KUM's very
our
early infancy.
Days, yes.
We were still crawling.
Yeah, we weren't even born yet.
But there was a variety show, not just a talk show, not just a music show. It was a little bit of everything, and it was hosted by a local businessman, and his name was in the title. You've always wanted to do that. Chris has done that himself.
Yeah, and so I know that our former Congresswoman Madeline Berdallo was also featured on this show, as were many.
And Madeline was a receptionist here at KUM for many years.
There were many local artists who performed on this show. Okay, so we'll take the first correct caller, 637-0094. Let's go. The phones are blowing up, Jay. The Link, good morning. Who's this?
Is
Is it the Alan Sex Show?
The Alan Sex Show?
Yeah.
Alan Seck.
Alan Sex Show. That is 100% correct. Nice job. I was racking my brain around this. I was
Yeah.
like, man, who was that again?
I
But
got it. I got it right off the bat because a lot of my Mononco friends that talk about the Alan Seck Show. They're like, "Oh boy, there's a show back in the day, the Alan Seck Show, and they give away Chevrolet, and they did this, and they did that."
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, were you around at that time, or is it just something you heard from your
Yeah,
family?
you know, my mom used to go. My mom would ask my sister, "Where was I?" And she'd say, "Just turn on the TV because she's in there dancing."
Yeah, day.
Yeah.
No.
So what do I win?
You won a prize, Jay.
Yeah, so the slogan of the Alan Sex Show, for those of you who might be listening, if you remember, was, "If you don't buy from us, we both lose."
Ooh.
That's a great line.
What's your name, ma'am?
Ann.
All right, Ann. Hold on. We're going to get your information, okay, and we'll win you your prize.
Congratulations, Ann.
Thank you.
All right. Mom?
Yeah.
Hold on, Mom.
Wait a minute.
No. There's a lot of Anns in this island, Jay.
Wait, okay, name is one thing. Did you not recognize your mother's voice?
I was just trying to let it go without saying anything. All right. Well, congratulations, Mom.
That's not a conflict of interest.
Not at all,
You're
no
more
way.
than welcome.
Hey, we're all related.
Congratulations, Auntie.
So 10:03, it's Friday. It's Chicken Fries Friday, where you can go to.
That's classic.
Yeah, where you can go to Burger King. You order one chicken fries. You say, "I love chicken fries," and then you get another one absolutely free. Also brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Good job today, Jay.
Thank you. Well, technically, your mom doesn't need to come up here because she'll be just bring me my prize.
Yeah,
please.
just bring it home.
It's the least you can do for she giving you life,
Right,
raising
yeah,
you.
Yeah,
putting
and I'd
clothes
still
on
be
you.
in arrears even with that. Joe, sir, thank you.
Please, you guys, heed the warning of Dr. Ho, and when he was really, really serious. Please, even if you are fully vaccinated, continue to wear your mask. Just do what's right. We gotta get this done.
Right. Hey, KUAM TV, thank you guys so much for watching this morning. For the Link Fam, está. Adios. Back here to leave you with Cover Me, brought to you again by Burger King and Docomo Pacific. Good job today, Jay.
All right, fun time as always.
All right, hasta lunes. Guajusa Chris. Adios.